We are live, ladies and gentlemen. What is going on, everybody? What is happening? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I got my hat on right. I got the hat on right. I do. Whew. Oh, the camera's off. Hold on a second. Someone bet I was going to be late. You lost that bet. You better pay up whatever your bet was. Bang! There we go. That's a little better, right? All right. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're covering a lot of stuff today. Tucker Carlson, thank you to whoever told me to go and watch that episode. I think it was in the coffees. I think someone let me know in the coffees that Tucker Carlson's episode, that priest. I was gonna watch it anyway, but you put a little battery in my back, and boy, oh boy, is that quite the episode. I'm going to parse that out for you guys in just a way that makes sense. It all applies to Hollywood, also applies to tech. I've talked about this stuff in pre-recorded videos months and months and months ago, but we're going to touch on it again because through the eyes of a priest and Tucker Carlson talking about it, it's just so good. And also we're going to move on to Barron, a little bit of Barron. I didn't see this certain part of Barron this episode. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then also addressing something that Barron was talking about. Like I told you about Blake Neff, and if they understand who they've actually hired, and the answer is yes, they do. We will get into that a little later. I don't know what that says. And then also the Frank and Jack Hibbs podcast that you could listen to if you were just willing to sacrifice just a little bit of dignity, ladies and gentlemen. If we could just have a little demoralization, we could have you listen to this podcast for the low price of both your ears bleeding. That podcast, already some glaring things that people have found. So it's some inconsistencies. Would you be surprised? There's some inconsistencies that have been found. And then we're going to get into what is sweeping the nation. I mean, I'll give you a little taste. No pun intended. I mean, what the hell is happening with pineapples in the hood? It's getting disturbing. Okay, we're gonna talk about that as well. We have to talk about that. Don't forget, I am buymeacoffee.com/Coach Colin is a nice site. It's a nice site. It helps a lot. We read them at the end. We go through them. You can write more stuff, etc., etc. Supers or that, or like whatever you like. Again, go right ahead, do whatever you feel, but I will make sure to pin that in the comment section right now for those of you that just love the coffees. I've had 2 cups already, if you cannot tell. Let's jump right in. Someone said yum Kool-Aid. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. You have no idea. Little update on what's going on with Candace Owens. I think we all owe Gary and Ben and all those people an apology. I think they're correct. I think they might be right about why she went to Russia. I think we've all made a grave mistake, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is I think we have made a big mistake. She's been caught, ladies and gentlemen. She has been caught gallivanting all around Moscow with Putin. I mean, what are we to do now, guys? I mean, and listen, it's not the only picture that's been captured. It's just not. I mean, here they are having a great bike ride, tandem bike, no less. I mean, this is just ridiculous. I didn't realize, guys. I apologize. It looks like we've been hoodwinked, ladies and gentlemen. We've been hoodwinked. What happened? Credit to Skarika there. Skarika, get everyone. She said, all Candace investigators, attention. And you got my attention. I mean, I can't believe it. My eyes. Here's an actual update of Candace Owens. She's showing the magnificent city of Moscow, as she puts it. It's not a matter of debate. I erred in not staying longer, but I will return. She is going to return. She wanted to stay a little longer. This is actually one of the pictures. I guess she's with her daughter there. There, I guess she is with, is that even her? I don't even know who. I think that is her. Yeah, it is. She's with a priest there. Maybe she's going to interview this priest. Somebody was mentioning maybe she's going to come away with an interview. Maybe there's a priest that she's going to interview. That would be interesting, and that would make a lot of sense for her. So we have that. Double O Owens is over there, just gallivanting around, probably speaking perfect Russian. You guys, she tricked us. What could we say? What could we say? It happens. Couldn't have been a better person to trick us. If anybody was going to trick us, we're glad it was her. Anyways, there's also another update, just so you guys understand. Right here, this is Victor Marx. I don't know what the hell's going on here. This is Victor Marx. Is there sound to this? Let me get
back to God.
I mean, he's saying back to God. Look at that. Showing his firearms that he has on his hip, doing the Ric Flair walk. I mean, I have no idea what's happening with this guy at all. I mean, I guess he's just having some fun, Mind's completely cracked after doing these interviews with Candace, and it's just so wild. So wild. I don't know what's going on there. This guy's gonna be the governor. He's gonna be a governor. What are you talking about? Pick anybody. What is there? 1,200 people here right now? Pick anybody else. Anybody else. I don't even care where they're from. Pick anybody else. They'd be a better governor. That's just my take on the whole thing. I still laugh when I think about that interview. Have you killed anybody? I don't really see why. It's kind of odd question. I don't really. Have you or not? When I was a kid or when I was an adult? Oh, he's out of his mind. All right, let's get into this interview. This is a very interesting interview. He sits down with this priest, Orthodox priest, but seems to be very with it. He doesn't seem like a stuffy guy. He seems to have a lot of knowledge. Some priests, somebody said it puts the lotion on the skin. It certainly does. It certainly does. Okay. Especially in the morning. He seems like he has a good knowledge of just, I don't want to say current events, maybe just the zeitgeist of thought towards the occult and, just all the things that we know about. So he doesn't seem like he's just stuffy in regards to just only knowing about Orthodox Christian views and that's it. He seems like he has a very broad view and then he brings it all to that. So I found this interview to be incredible. But you guys know, for those of you that have been watching since the Yellow Beanie, I connected all this to Hollywood. I didn't just connect it. I have these clips in a way where you are going to see, and we are going to talk about how this is actually connected to Hollywood, what he's talking about. Connected to Hollywood, connected to the elite. I think connected to politics as well. So let's get into it. Starting off right here, Tucker Carlson. I love when Tucker does interviews like these. They're some of the best interviews that he does. Let's get into it.
Has the solar calendar. All of them have, in the Sumerian Kings list, have associated with them sort of the things that they discovered, but the discovery is always it was revealed to them by this spirit. Came and this divine spirit revealed to them this and that and the other, and it's technological things like metallurgy, it's ancient technological things like sorcery and divination, and it's things about the natural world like the solar calendar.
But the ancients believed that technological advances came to them from the spiritual realm.
Right. That's where it's coming from.
But that doesn't happen at all anymore.
Well, this is
sorry.
Yeah. No, this is part of the larger discussion. And this is,
but nuclear technology definitely didn't come from the demonic.
Well, this is exact. So, within the framework of how the ancients understood it, and this is the ancients going all the way late antiquity, and this is frankly maintained in the Orthodox Church. So the mind, in the Greek word that's usually translated mind is nous. It's transliterated nous. And we're used to thinking of our mind as our brain.
Yes.
And it's sort of this computer in our skull box,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That churns and processes. But that's not how they thought about it. They thought about the mind more as a sensory organ, like your eye.
Yeah.
So you'll see it referred to as the eye of the heart or the eye of the mind. And that the mind sort of perceives the spiritual realm. And so ideas are like sights or sounds or smells. They're not produced by the brain.
Yes.
Right? They're not produced by the
They're
mind.
received by the
They're
brain.
received by the mind.
Yes.
Right? And so they come from outside. Right.
But that's the experience of people who are paying attention now, even. Like, who hasn't had that?
Right. And
that is all so true. And now when it links to Hollywood, I mean, you can just hear countless songwriters, rock stars talking about ideas coming to them. An idea for a song, like, oh, this iconic song, how did it happen? Oh, I was just like in a stairwell and it all just came to me at once. But what also those guys tend to do, right? And I know a lot of people are like, no, not the guy that I love, not the songs that I memorize. Yep, even those ones. What those guys tend to do is communicate with something that is rather dark. I've already gotten into it many times. I don't want to have too much overlap. I've gotten into it with what Jimmy Page was into. He had someone who was mentoring him that was like Aleister Crowley's best friend. So just all sorts of interesting things like that. He was like, I would say he's like the second, almost like the right-hand man to Aleister Crowley was mentoring Jimmy Page. There's a lot of that. He's not the only one. There's so much of that. Hip hop is way more open about it now. They're very, very open about it. They talk about it in songs. They show you in their music videos. They have all sorts of wild imagery, and it's not just to empower themselves, but to also get into your mind as well, which also helps empower themselves, because you perceiving something, even if you don't realize it, helps amplify whatever intention they're going out into the world with. And it's usually very dark, as you can see by what's happening in the world. It's usually very, very dark. But the whole thing of idea, the sigils, exactly. Someone just said the sigils. Yeah. Jimmy Page had a lot of sigils. And if you look closely throughout Hollywood, throughout hip hop, throughout rock music, you will see a lot of sigils. If you notice the symbolism, once you notice the symbolism, you can never not see the symbolism. It's in logos. I mean, like the Gmail logo, notoriously, like if you don't know about that, I mean, you know, look at the aprons when it comes to Masons, you look at the Gmail logo, it's like the same thing. But I was going to say, when it comes to ideas coming to people, there was also someone very famous who had this same idea, and it was Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson would often call all of his guys together. It would be like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And he'd be like, I have this idea for a song and we have to do it now. And this is an actual quote. And somebody would be like, can't we just do it in the morning? And he'd be like, no, he had a big war with Prince. Him and Prince would like go at it. It was kind of friendly, but it's like they wanted to be the guy. And he'd be like, no, we can't do it in the morning. We have to do it now because the idea might go to Prince instead. I have the idea right now, but if we don't do it now, it might go to Prince. That's a real thing that he would think. So he would get working right away. It was part of why his work ethic was so wild, because he didn't want Prince to get a hold of the song ideas that he would have. Funny enough. So it was a wild back and forth that they would have. Yeah, someone says that's weird. It sounds weird until you start really. When it comes to musical artists, a lot of times we listen to their music. You should watch their interviews and watch things about them rather than just listen to their music. If you do that, you'll have a different perspective on them because you start seeing them as a person. Like that whole thing with Jimmy Page, you wouldn't know that about Jimmy Page by listening to his music. You wouldn't know that he bought one of Aleister Crowley's mansions that had some really dark stuff in it, where Aleister Crowley thought he like summoned a lieutenant of hell. Like you wouldn't know that otherwise. You wouldn't know that he was not only putting sigils on his clothing, he would put sigils on the records. If you have any old records, you can go back and you will find there will be sigils on the record because they wanted what was in the sigil, the intention that was in the sigil, they wanted it amplified through the music. There was a reason that they did this. There was a that right-hand man to Aleister Crowley that said to Jimmy Page, you need a sigil, and everybody in the band needs a sigil. And only one guy was like, I'm not doing this. My sigil is the Holy Trinity. He goes, use that. That symbol, that's my symbol. He didn't want to be a part of it. Very weird stuff. Anyway, let's get back to this. Just to talk about that idea, the idea that ideas just come to you. It's a very real thing. And here's the thing. It's not always dark. I'm not saying if an idea comes to you, it's satanic or it's demonic in nature. I think that there is very much a good side to that. And there are certain people who try to force it through ritual, through seance, through connecting to things that are on the other side, on the darkness side of things. And that's what we see a lot in music and in Hollywood and in politics as well. Let's keep going here. I love this topic. You have no idea.
And I've never met anyone who had the experience of generating a thought, right? Like, what are the steps from not a thought to a thought, right?
That's such a deep point.
Yeah. So these things come from outside. And so this is in the genealogy of Cain in Genesis, right? It's Cain's descendants who invent metallurgy and use it to make weapons. Right, and who discover divination and who discover music and use it for seduction and right for these other things, right? Because the idea is that these demonic spirits that are antithetical to humanity bring knowledge to humans before they're ready for it. Right, that a time would come when humanity had reached a level of spiritual maturity when they could receive this knowledge.
Yes.
And put it to proper use, and so it gets revealed early, right? And that begins with the serpent in the garden, right? The tree of the knowledge of good and evil is not itself evil, right? So humanity is created innocent, right? But innocent like a child is innocent, and created for this purpose, created in God's image, in order to grow into His likeness.
Yes.
It's very interesting. He said that people are given the thoughts towards certain things before humanity's ready. I right away I think of AI. Right away, that's the first thing that comes to mind. AI, like, oh, of course, that's the thing that they're forcing right now that we're not truly ready for, because it's a race. It's a race to who makes it to the AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. It's a race to who gets there, because whoever gets there first gets to dominate the world and potentially send an army of robots to the other place that didn't master it yet. It's like, you're clearly not ready for it, obviously. Like, what? We're not ready for that at all. I think, a lot of people will say different. Someone said Lady Gaga is very obvious. Miss Chris Viz, yes, Lady Gaga is very obvious when it comes to this type of thing. Very, very obvious. She does a whole bunch of different things. I mean, I don't even know if I can say what I've seen in her music video, but the imagery is just wild in like one of the most recent ones. It might have been even a concert show or something like that. But if you go watch her shows, I mean, and she's another one where I've talked about so many times, where I talk about a lot of artists having a Slim Shady, right? There's Marshall Mathers and then there's Slim Shady. They have an alter ego. That's what it is. They have an alter ego. She's one of them. And Nicki Minaj has an alter ego, and she says his name is Roman, and Roman takes over when she's on stage. And if you watch her on stage, she's very like, it's very weird to watch her on stage. Lady Gaga also has an alter ego, and she says his name is Roman as well. Don't know the connection there. I don't know about anything evil that's named Roman. Maybe you guys do. But yes, she is a very much, and yeah, Katy Perry, Madonna. I mean, Madonna, when it comes to Madonna, someone mentioned Madonna. Just the way she looks. I did a video on this, and I don't mean to be insulting when I say it, but just the way she looks. This is what I did the video on. I was like, it's like as if, and I do, again, we're getting out there. Put on your tinfoil Speedos if you haven't already. I do think there's something with her. I think this happens in Hollywood, where she has allowed something to connect and be around her, which they're going to get to inside these clips. She's allowed something to connect and be around her for so long that there is either a compulsion or something that just happens where she starts taking on the features of the demon that is inside of her or has been around her for a long time. And it's not, I'm not saying it's not an insult, but there's something to it, because the way that she looks is not like, it's not a one-off. You can find many celebrities that for some reason look the way that she looks. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that it doesn't look good. Madonna was a gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous woman who could have just aged beautifully if she wanted to. There's no way that these celebrities look at the things that happens with their, again, not insulting, but there's no way you can look at what gets done through plastic surgery or some other kind of spiritual means and say, this looks fantastic. There's just no way. It just doesn't make any sense. They have eyes. They have eyes and they have stylists. You know, when it comes to looking good, they know a bit more than we do. How do they all end up looking like that? It's weird. Anyway, let's move on. This is clip number 2, where they start talking about the Nephilim. They start talking about addiction. They started talking about how it kind of takes over the body in a way. Let's move on to this really, really quick. Again, love this topic. If you can't tell, this is my thing. I mean, just
look back to them as these were the leaders of the golden age. These are the great figures. These are the spirits we want to emulate, right? These are the people we want to be like, the great heroes. And instead, Genesis casts them as these evil, wicked tyrants and thugs who are leading people to destruction, to chaos, right? Genesis says that it gets to the point where every thought of humanity is always evil all the time, right? That's
yeah.
And these people are actively leading humanity in that direction. It's not just coincidence, right? They're teaching this, they're embodying this, right? And so when you have a person who are calling a giant or a Nephilim, we're talking about sort of a fully demonized human. So in the way the church has traditionally talked about sin, related to what we were just talking about with the mind, there's sort of these stages. First stage is thought comes into your mind.
okay. Just before somebody actually, big Goy Paloi. The name Roman is connected to the Roman god Janus, I believe that is, and a demon god of the lesser key of Solomon. Interesting. I did not know that. That's very interesting. So there's a couple of people who have this Roman in mind when they have their alter ego that's actually controlling them when they perform. So he just said, a thought comes into the mind. So this is him going through the whole process of things. And then you can see where this happens in Hollywood, and you can see where this happens where Hollywood, politics, even tech now, tries to put us through this spell that he's referring to.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't control that, just like you're walking down the street and you see something or hear something, right? Thought comes into your mind. That's not really sin yet, right? But then we start to entertain that thought, start to dwell on that thought. We start to let that thought take root, start to let that thought turn into a plan, right?
Been there.
Then we let that plan turn into action, right?
Yeah.
Then that action turns into a habit, a repeated action over time that we fall into. As it becomes a habit, it starts to take control of us. So we talk about the sins as the passions because they make us passive, right? They're acting upon us at a certain point. And you can see that with, anger, right? You reach a point where it's now driving the bus, right?
Yes.
Or lust.
Yes.
Or, addiction, right?
Yes.
All these things. So it gets to the point where it takes control. And then beyond that, you get what we call demonic possession, where there is this sort of spirit that is now driving full time. You're not even really making your own decisions anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of lost to it. And then sort of the furthest you can go in terms of being lost when we're talking about these Nephilim and these giants is that spirit isn't in control of you anymore. You just agree with it. You're on board with that sort of demonic spirit deliberately.
Now, this is something, right? This speaks to what I said about Madonna. many other people in Hollywood. I think that they do get to that point where they just agree with it. They agree with it. You know, some could argue, and I think even Tucker might even argue that that is where the president is at currently, which is why the president said with a smile on his face, I'm not going to make it to heaven. I'm not going to go to heaven. And everybody thought that was very odd, very, very odd to say, especially when your mission is to save America. You know, that's a very incredible mission, you know, but somehow he's like, I'm not going to heaven. Somehow we all look at him now, so many supporters, right? You know, the biggest ones, Candace and Tucker, etc., Megyn Kelly, etc., Sean Ryan, even, yeah. You all know the Rogan, even Theo, you know the biggest ones, but you also know the ones that are around you, maybe even yourself, where you're like, I don't recognize this guy anymore. What is this? What happened here? What is going on? Why doesn't he care? Someone said, hey, do you care about the Americans' financial position? He's like, no, I don't think about that. No, that's not on my mind. What's on my mind is war. What's on my mind is death. It's almost like he has that kind of, you know, he's agreed with whatever's around him. And perhaps that was done through other means throughout the years of just being, you know, a billionaire and being a part of that class. Or perhaps it was Paula White, you know, the odd Paula White that has been around him. That seems like she seems like the female version of Victor Marx. That's what she seems like to me. You know, and we all know how we feel about Victor Marx here. Friend of the show, right? A crazy friend of the show. So maybe something was done. I don't know. And I do think that there's something like that when it comes to BB. I don't think he was born like that. I don't think any of these guys are born like that. I don't think Gavin was born the way, you know, I don't think they were just born like that. I think something attaches, and after a while, like he said, like, and you could take this in the form of addiction, what he's talking about when he talks about addiction, because, you know, if you've dealt with addiction, this is exactly how it feels. It's exactly how my addiction felt, right? At a certain point, it's a thought, and then it just takes over, and then all of a sudden it's driving, and then all of a sudden you just agree. You're just like, this is just what I do, and I do this every day, and I don't care what part of my life it wrecks or what I got to do to get it. I don't care about all that. I just want to get the thing. It did feel like a demon, especially for me, and maybe especially for you as well. But I always had a voice that would say, you have to stop this. There was always a voice, no matter what I was doing, whether it was friends or I was having a good time or it was relieving stress and I was in a dark place. It didn't matter what it was. There was always a voice that was like, you have to stop. You have to stop. Your life will get better if you stop. The whole way through. I mean, I was deep for like, I don't know, 20 years, probably 20 years. I started when I was 12. Yeah, probably like a good, yeah, more than 20 years, 23 years. The whole time, something in me was like, you should stop. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. we're not doing that. It was almost like the addiction had taken body and shape, you know? I think there's a lot of that going on in Hollywood. And that's why they're so obsessed with, you know, war. And what comes of war, the byproduct of war, which is limbs everywhere and PTSD and guys going nuts and, you know, being terrified. And there's a reason that they're all okay with it. You would think after a while, even you could say whatever you want about human beings and you can say they're apes and this and that. You would think after a while, they would all go, is there a way we can not do this anymore, guys? Hey, guys, is there a way? Can you just leave me and my country alone and I'll leave you and yours alone? Can we get to that point, everybody? Can we all just agree on something? Can we get a mutually assured destruction agreement going on? Something? Can we have it so if one place decides to violate it, we all just nuke that place? And that's the agreement from now on? Can we get something in place? Or can we just all destroy all of our nukes and all of our weapons? Can we do that? You would think somebody would have that idea by now. That would be in power, but none of them do. They get in power and they change. They change rapidly. They change crazily. Oh, Billie Eilish. I'll write that down. Right next to Taylor Swift, but we do have to keep going on with the clip here. I got a little detoured there. Let's keep going. Let's go.
You know, you're rejoicing and enjoying, right, sort of the chaos and the destruction and the wickedness. And by the grace of God, there's relatively few of those people. Right. But They do exist.
Do you mind if I just pull up the passage? Because there's one part of it I want to ask you about, which you haven't addressed, which is just how different the Nephilim are. I mean, they're substantively different. They're genetically different from people. And I think this is the most evocative, or the most interesting, the weirdest. I think this is NIV, whatever. It's a version of the Old Testament. When human beings began to increase in number in the earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. Then the Lord said, my spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal, and their days will be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in these days, and also afterward. And the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children with them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown.
Yeah.
So that's describing between spiritual entities, sons of God, whatever that means.
Yeah.
And human women.
Yes.
Which whoever they choose suggests.
Right. Yeah.
So what is that?
Yeah. So
he was saying the R word, so I just had to like cut that out. Not the fun R word that we all used to say. The other R word, talking about like essay stuff like that.
Sons of God is used, for example, in Job. This is referring to a group of and what we would call angelic beings.
Yes.
Actually, you know what? We should keep going with this. Hold on.
So the ancient texts, including ancient Jewish texts, will use small g gods to refer to them, but that makes us really uncomfortable.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The modern world is
as monotheists.
Angelic beings works a little bit right for people. But even that, we think of angels and we think, kind of effeminate guy with wings, right? And that's not really what angels are. Angelic beings are sort of vast cosmic intelligences.
Yes.
And so we have to sort of think about that a little differently, like what a spirit is. But yes.
See what I mean by this guy having like a little different kind of skill set in terms of how he explains things. Like you don't usually hear a priest say like, oh, it's a vast, thing of consciousness. Like you don't usually hear intelligence. Sorry. You don't usually hear that from a priest. You don't usually hear that much. Yeah, he's very different, in my opinion.
This is talking about them having intimate.
So this is where they start talking about the Nephilim. I'm gonna not really move past it, but we learn that these demons may be running society or seen as the smartest and brightest. That's the clip that we're moving on to right now. Because I do think this, and I have made a video about this, just how it seems as though my thought process at the time was like, maybe the Nephilim have attached themselves to celebrity, because the one thing that I was taught from the demonologist that I spoke with, Nathaniel Gillis, great guy, lots of information. I think he's been on all the podcasts. I think he did Julian Dorian. I think he did Danny Jones recently. I think for sure he's going to be on Rogan sooner or later. I think that's just going to happen. He's done some stuff with Kurt Metzger as well. Been on my show, many other shows, always on Confessionals as well. If you know the Confessionals podcast, he's just incredible base of knowledge. But the one thing that he said that really stood out, he's like, they demand to be worshipped. These Nephilim, they demand worship because they want what God has. They want to be worshipped on the level that God has. Well, who else better to connect yourself to, right, than the celebrities of today, to the politicians of today, to the tech nerds of today? Who better to connect yourself to attach to run ideas through, to give the blessing of technology and company and apps and all of this stuff? Who better to do it with than all of those people? So my thought process was maybe they've attached to these celebrities because they want to be worshipped. And maybe after a certain amount of time, they say, I don't want to be in the background of you getting worshipped while I'm doing the work. I actually want to be in the foreground. I want to experience the worship. This is what I demand. And that's when we get to the point of, Ariana Grande and that ghoulish figure that is alongside of her all the time with the long nails and that scary lady of sorts. That's where we get to Madonna. That's where we get to Billie Eilish. That's where we get to Doja Cat being dressed up as a demon. That's where we get to all of the wild imagery that we see when they're on the red carpets and whatnot. because there's a demand for worship, a trade. Exactly. There, somebody just said it. Justin Shade just said a trade. There's a trade-off. You want the fame and the fortune. I want the worship. We will connect. I will give you the talent. I will make it so you make your dreams come true. But I also want something in exchange. And it's not a fair trade. It's never a fair trade, because most of these people end up losing their lives in all sorts of wild ways. So let's just keep going here. Let me just make sure I got the right clip here. Yeah, number 9, where he starts talking about these people potentially running the world. Again, I love when Tucker gets into stuff like this.
Sort of reproduction, right?
Someone said a contract. Exactly. So the selling of your soul. Exactly. This incredible thing given by God, straight up gift, so much grace in it. Grace that you could not have possibly earned. You start trading that thing that you are, that's in you. You start trading that for the material world. And who do they say runs the material world, that rules over the material? And that's who you start giving yourself to. But they talk about that in this as well. I'm telling you, it's such an interesting podcast.
On the earth. And
okay, so that's a different genetic profile. They're not fully human.
Right. And so this is
now we're getting freaky.
Yeah, this is also an inversion, right? Because of course, the from the pagan perspective, they would say these people are part divine, right?
Yeah.
So the Epic of Gilgamesh is 2/3 divine and 1/3 human, right? According to the Epic of Gilgamesh. And there's a text called the Book of the Giants that we found among the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's not part of the Bible, but it includes a list of the giants, a list of the Nephilim, and Gilgamesh is one of the names that's listed there. So this was a very deliberate, right? This isn't just incidental.
And this was in Qumran.
Yeah. And so this is, a millennium later, but they still have Gilgamesh in mind as one of the.
So this is right at the turn of the last millennium.
There,
around the time of Jesus.
Yeah. So and that, of course, was part of why they were so great and so good and so admirable, and why they had this secret knowledge. And so this is turning that around and saying, no, they're 2/3 demon, essentially. They're 2/3 unclean spirit. They're 2/3.
But this idea, just like the fact of it, that entities from the spiritual realm, non-human entities, whatever they are, however we're going to describe them, lower G gods, angels, demons, whatever, that they can mate with human beings and produce not fully human replicas of human beings who can walk among us and rule over us. Like, this is a biblical principle?
I was actually just going to get into it, but listen to his answer.
Yeah, well, yeah. But what this sort of...
But again, they're talking about the past, but you have to look at what's happening currently. They're talking about the past of there being these beings and these renowned type beings, and they're getting blessed with all of this technology and ideas and all of these different things. This hasn't stopped. That's the big thing about it. This hasn't stopped. I mean, going to acting. Let's go to acting. I played a bunch of clips. There's a bunch of clips. There's a guy, I think his name Damson. He's this black actor. He's playing a gangster in this show. I forget what the show is, but he's talking in a round table with a bunch of people, and he's talking about how he got ready for the role because he had to do some dark stuff. And he's saying, before I do this, I'm saying, come on, devil. Come on, devil. Like, he's saying that. I don't even want to say those words, but he's saying that, trying to get something dark conjured up in him. Terrence Howard, Snowfall. Yes, exactly. Boom. Thank you very much. Terrence Howard. He even says in an interview, weird interview. You'll know when you find the interview because he has a weird wig on. He has this weird wig on. I think he was like on set and he couldn't like take off everything. He had to keep it on. But he's doing this interview and he says, you go into a room and you make sure it's all black and you look into the mirror and you just wait, and then you feel hands on you, and then you just let it in and you let it take over. He was talking about preparing for roles. What are we talking about? This hasn't stopped. I remember there's this old, again, this is from an older video, But there's this older video where Jack Nicholson's young, and this lady on stage. I guess she's like presenting Jack. He's about to win an award, Jack Nicholson, and she's talking about how he channels. She's like, I know what you did there. You were channeling. And he's like, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You're channeling. What are you channeling? You don't just channel nothing. You don't just channel thoughts. You don't just channel a feeling. You have to channel a being, something you're communicating. When you say you're channeling, you're communicating with something. Even he's saying he does it. You think any of this has stopped? There was a person that ran Canada for, I think, 20 years. I think he was prime minister for 20 years. And he talks about having seances and speaking with I think it was his dead mother and his dead dog. 20 years. He's prime minister. You think that's the only politician that's like into anything like that? You think those are the only actors as I bring them up? Ozzy did it all the time. Yep, 100%. So many of them. I remember hearing the Rolling Stones talk about that whole idea thing and it just coming over you and this and that. And then you can look into some of their lyrics and be like, whoa, okay. Go look into some of their lyrics. Go look into some of Kid Rock's lyrics, you know? So yeah, I don't think this has stopped. And that's just Hollywood that I'm touching on politics a little bit. What about tech? What about the tech of today? We know that Jack Parsons is real. And that's exactly what Jack Parsons was doing. Just to bring it into a little more modern day, Jack Parsons was doing that. We go back a little bit, Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla openly talks about doing it. He talks about sitting in a trance-like state and having these ideas and inventions come to him, that he channeled them through. He didn't sit and think about them. He didn't write it and go, you didn't write it. No. He talks about having them channeled through. Jack Parsons, same thing. No knowledge of rocketry. Then he all of a sudden gets with Aleister Crowley. They start doing these weird little practices and whatnot, right? Getting freaky a little bit. I don't know if they had baby oil back then, but if they did, they dip each other in it. That type of thing. Doing all these rituals. And then the next thing you know, he has all this knowledge of rocketry. An insane amount of knowledge. I mean, the scientists of, the World War II bad guys, their scientists were very steeped inside this stuff. The Russian scientists were as well. So there's a reason that the America, after they dominated everything, they were like, gimme. You want to go to jail? You want to go to jail? Or you want to come with us? Yeah, we got a thing, NASA. You want to come? What's your name? Warner? Get on in here. Come on, all you guys, get in here. So you think that stopped? They just all on the up and up? No, they kept doing what they needed to do in order to gain this knowledge. And who's to say that's not Operation Paperclip? Exactly. Who's to say that's not happening right now? Who's to say that's not happening with OpenAI? Who's to say that's not happening with what Tesla is or what Neuralink is or with who's to say that they're not still doing this? Steve Jobs came up with a lot of his ideas. I love Steve Jobs, but he came up with a lot of his ideas. He would take a substance. He was talking about being in an apple orchard. There's a reason. There's a big reason. I'm sure you guys can see we're talking about biblical stuff here. There's a reason why it's called apple and there's a bite taken out of it. Like there's a reason that he called it that. And he ran with it like that. And everybody always says, well, he wasn't really that smart. He was just a marketing guy. He wasn't just a marketing guy. He was a vision guy. He was the guy who would take the substances and go, I've been shown that the way that a mouse works should be like this. I've been shown that the way music works, it should actually go on a device and it should be like this. The way that phones work, it should actually be like this. And that's why he was notoriously known as a jerk. Because he'd walk in the rooms and he'd say, this is what has to happen. I want you to do it. If you can't do it, leave. And people would be like, what is he talking about? It's because he got the knowledge before before the engineers he had around them were even ready for it. But he would force them into it. I don't think this has stopped at all. I think this is still going on. I think that's a big part of what AI is. I think that's a big part of what CERN is. I think a lot of these scientists are... I should say engineers, scientists as well. I think they're modern day occultists. I think that's what we're looking at right now. When we look at these guys, that's what they are. I mean, and of course, I look at Steve Jobs. Sorry, not Steve Jobs. Sorry, I was reading someone's comment there. Look at Elon Musk. I'm sure his mother is a great lady, a fantastic lady, but she was friends with Werner von Braun. How's that work? How'd that happen? Somehow she got the knowledge that she was going to have a son named Elon, and her son was going to go to Mars. And in fact, it's based on a book. So she had access to this book that's based on a guy named Elon that ends up inventing great things and ends up going to Mars. And somehow she forged that into being today, into the physical. You got to think about it. Anyway, let's keep going. I'm having fun here.
Corresponds to, right, if we had a time machine and a GoPro, is that there were these particular rituals that were happening that were involved in the production of the next king. And this happens after the flood too. And one of the big clues to this that's in the Old Testament is there's this figure who shows up after the flood, after the Exodus, Og, the king of Bashan, who is described as the last of the Rephaim in scripture. And who exactly the Rephaim were, we sort of weren't sure. The word pops up a few places, other places in the Old Testament. In Isaiah, the text that's traditionally understood to talk about the fall of the devil from heaven talks about, as he's thrown down into the underworld, the Rephaim rising up to meet him. So there are these few places. There's Psalm 88 talks about, will the Rephaim arise and praise you? It's talking about in the underworld, talking about would they praise God? The answer being assumed no. But we now know exactly who they were because in the mid-20th century, we discovered the city of Ugarit, which had been destroyed in the Bronze Age collapse around 1200 BC and lost. Nobody knew it was there. Nobody knew it existed. It was discovered, and we discovered a library of texts there in a language that we now call Ugaritic after the city.
Where is it? Pardon me.
It's in Western Syria,
okay,
just above Lebanon, just north right, of Lebanon. In Ras Shamra is what it's called now. And we found this library of texts. Ugaritic is a Semitic language, so it's like Hebrew or Aramaic in terms of the vocabulary and the grammar, but it's written in cuneiform on tablets.
Huh.
And so those tablets survived because those clay tablets are very difficult to break, even if you try.
Yeah.
And in there, it shed a lot of light on the Old Testament because, as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of words that only appear once in the Hebrew Old Testament, but we now have cognate words in Ugaritic that help us understand some of these things. But one of the texts there is a ritual text for when the king died. And when the king of Ugarit died, they did this funerary ritual where they offered sacrifices and did what is essentially magic, right? Ritual magic, to try to ward off the Rephaim, who were the spirits of these dead ancient kings, so that the king who had just died could pass by them safely to get into the underworld. And so that then showed us, oh, okay, well, so that's what Isaiah is talking about. That's what the Psalms are talking about, the spirits of these dead kings. And so Og being the last one, right, who's alive at the time of the Exodus, he's one of these giants. Deuteronomy describes his bed. It randomly says, talks about Og being slain by the Israelites. Him being slain is talked about in Numbers and Deuteronomy and in two different Psalms. They sing about how great it is that Og, king of Bashan, was slain by God through the Israelites.
So now this bed that he's talking about, he basically just says it's a giant bed. It's a huge bed. And also it's a bed that was used to bring about the new king. And the way that they would do that is what you would do inside of a bed, if you know what I mean. I want to take the reins here so I can say it properly for this platform. But that's the type of ritual they would do in that bed to bring about the king. And what they would do is they would have women who were possessed by certain entities, and those women would participate in that, and that's how they would bring about the new king. Weird stuff, really, really weird stuff. Anyway, let's move on here. Somebody said Denver Airport. I think I've done a couple videos on Denver Airport. Me and my wife did a whole breakdown on Denver Airport. We did like a full, I think it's like an hour long or something like that. You can find it. It's way in the earlier videos, way earlier, like 4 years ago or something like that. Maybe 3. I don't know. Someone said Candace was talking about the same thing too. Yeah, this is actually a good thing to talk about. How they filmed doing that ritual. The scientists why can't I say that word? Particle collider. Yeah, well, I thought you were going somewhere else with this, but the reason I pulled that one up in particular is because Candace was talking about this, right? She was talking about Gilgamesh. She was talking about the parts of the world where he was. She was talking about a lot of the war and destruction being connected to this type of thing, which I love that she's able to talk about that. Let me just make sure that I am on the right one. Is this the right one? Yeah, it is. So this is where they start talking about people who live as demons become demons, okay, which touches on what I was talking about in regards to certain famous people. Someone else also mentioned Taylor Swift. They said, what about Taylor Swift? Well, go watch one of her concerts. It's very hard to find. But if we watch one of her concerts, and you can do this with many concerts, do this with concerts in general. Don't think concert, think ritual, and watch a concert. And then you'll start seeing like, oh, okay. And then also when it comes to Taylor Swift, I mean, I'm sure she's a great lady. She seems really cool. She seems interesting, you know. But when people have this weird thing where they can't remember what happened after they go to her show, this is a real thing. I did a video on it. This is a real thing. People go to her show, they have a great time, and there's a huge chunk of missing time that they can't remember what happened at all. It's a thing with her stuff in particular. Really weird. Somebody also mentioned Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish is one of them. I can show you some weird things of Billie Eilish, like contorting on stage and doing all sorts of very demonic looking things. You know, just bending her back all the way back and like sticking her tongue. Yeah, if I can find it right now, I'd show you right now because it is freaky. It is very freaky. I forgot where I've even seen it before. Billie Eilish back bend. I bet that'll show it. Billie Eilish back bend. Nope, somebody else doing it. This is one of her back bends that she does. Okay. All right, we're just seeing a lot of butts right now. That's not what I'm looking for. Appreciate it, but that's not what I'm looking for here. Nope. Not what. Can you guys see this? Oh, thank God you guys can see this. Okay. It's not showing up. A whole bunch of other things on X are showing up as I try to find this back bend video. A lot of different things are showing up. Let's go Billie Eilish possessed. Let's go there instead. I don't know why it's showing all this crazy stuff right now. Let's go Billie Eilish possessed instead. Okay. No. Oh, maybe this guy will show it. Oh, there it is. This is it. Yes. Thank you so much. Leave it to one of the Christian podcasts to show us this thing that I'm talking about here. Let me just drop that in there. Is it right? Is it beside the right thing? Let me make sure. Yeah, it's not. Here, we're at the 44. All right, let's switch it up. Billie Eilish, ladies and gentlemen. Stop sharing. Boom. Check this out. This is very weird.
A demon. I mean, you see all these videos and all the music that she's doing, and something is not right. Just look at all these images.
So check this out. This is where he talks about the back bend. I just don't like the music, so. Like, it's a weird thing that she always does. There's no need for it. She's not like a hypersexualized person, at least from what I know. But it's just a weird thing that she always does. And her tongue sticks out and her face kind of contorts. And it's just really, really weird stuff. She always does that. Justin Bieber was actually really worried for her. Someone else mentioned this. And he hugged her. And it was almost like a hug, like, I don't know, like he knew what she was going through. It seemed tearful. She started crying. It didn't really make sense because they were just seeing each other. And he hugged her. He hugged her like he was consoling her. She was crying. It wasn't at a point where anything heavy was happening. They just saw each other, like backstage or something like that. Really weird. I would love to see him sit down for an interview. I would love to know what that kid knows. I shouldn't even say kid. He's in his 30s. I would love to know what he saw, what happened, who's responsible. I think he'd be the ultimate whistleblower, the ultimate one. But let's get into this next one. People
right?
come
And fill it with life. And so humanity is created to sort of continue that work of God in the world. That's the purpose, to continue to participate in what God is doing in the world. That then transforms humanity. So, positive example of this. God is at work continually in the world, loving every human person. When I go and I show love to my neighbor, that love's not coming from me, right? I'm participating in God's love. God is loving them through me, but that transforms me.
Yes.
That love transforms and changes me more toward God's likeness. Right? And the reverse is true, right? And in that way, I'm sort of embodying the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit in the world. But the flip side is true. That means humanity can also embody other spirits in the world. And when you do that and you bring that into the world and make it concrete, that also changes you. And it's not just a spiritual or a psychological transformation. It's even a physical transformation.
Yes.
We've seen that. You can see someone who has gone down a dark road in
I've
life, a
seen it.
photo of them.
Yes.
They repent, they change, they come back. You see a photo of them out. You can physically see it.
Well, there's no question about it.
That transformation happens in both directions.
You can read it in their faces.
Yeah. And so as humans, we're going to participate in something. There are things larger than us at work in the world. Right? God being the most important one. And we're either going to participate in what he's doing in the world and be formed and shaped by that, or we're going to participate in something else and be formed and shaped by that. And the end of that is our destruction, right, of ourselves and each other.
There are...
It's very interesting. Again, that touches on a lot of what you see with Hollywood. I won't go through what I said about the president again. You know, some people would even think that touches on him or other politicians, you know, the ones that do maybe break promises, maybe just change character completely. Of course, dictators and whatnot doing just terrible, evil things. There's something there. Hollywood, you're seeing that happen. You can watch that happen in Hollywood. You can just watch that happen. If you watch Selena Gomez or Christina Aguilera or Britney Spears, if you just watch them, you could have saw them when they were 12 and when they were 14 and when they were 17 and when they were 18 and when they were 25 and when they were 30, and you would see the change happen dramatically. I mean, a lot of times when you look at Britney, you're like, she's still wrestling with something, right? A lot of times I take it to Mortal Kombat Ultra with her, but I think that's a part of it. I think, you know, because what Mortal Kombat Ultra does, it transforms people, and it's not for the better when you have something like that happen to you. It's something that's very prevalent still, you know. But you know, just that sentence of people when they live like demons, they become demons. I think there's a lot to that, and I think that's the reason why in society they want us towards so much degeneracy. They want us cut off from family and community, you know, proper family and community. They want us, you know, demoralized, sad. They want us to turn to substance. They want us to, you know, fall off track, get far from God. Don't preserve that church. I was just talking about that in another episode. You know, some places just preserve churches. It'll be like 400 years old. North America, it's like, get rid of that thing. Put a box up. Make sure there's a box there with some fast food. And that's how we'll do it. Go to the hood, gun store, liquor store, gun store, liquor store, Planned Parenthood, gun store, liquor store. Let's keep it like that. Keeps people in a certain mindset. If there's beauty around you, you got to process things differently. Changes your disposition. There's boxes around you and there's no community and there's no love. Well, that changes you. That changes your disposition as well, right? I think there's something to that. I really do. So I think there is a transformation that happens to people, that just happens to them. You know, you go a dark path. You know, it even scared me as I was listening to this, because there was a point where I was on a dark path and it was like, okay, you know, you get to a point where your addiction does feel like it's a thing that is hounding you to act a certain way. And I just wonder how close I was to not being able to turn back, you know? I do wonder about that sometimes, especially listening to this episode. And I'm so glad, by the grace of God, I actually did get to turn back and become good. But you really got to think about that transformation. We usually think if it's a very dark person who is lighting candles around or getting dipped in baby oil and they know what's going on and they did that to themselves. But I think there's also a societal kind of planned type of thing that's pushed on you as well. I really do think, as funny as it might sound, I think there is a connection towards what we're talking about in this. This is crazy. This is destroying people. This is actually destroying people. Why are there lemons dipped in Kool-Aid? Why are they giving you balls of diabetes? They're giving you balls of diabetes? Why are they doing that? I think there's a connection there. I really do. Someone said it's a choice. Not all the time. It's not a choice of whether or not you get to hear music. You can try and run away from music, but you can't run away from music. You can't really get away from music all that much. You can't really get away from movies. You can't really get away from politics or hearing a politician speak. You can't really escape the symbolism. You can't really do that. You have to look at your phone. You have to look at things. Not even just your phone. You have to look at things. And it's everywhere. So it is a choice in certain circumstances. But I think society at large right now, it's very hard to veer away. Like if your choice is this and this is so available and in your face all the time. And this other choice is so far off. It's like being like, well, I have to go to the grocery store. And someone goes, well, it's a choice. Well, it's like, well, no one's grown any food in my family for the past 200 years. I have no idea how to do it. What is the soil right? I don't even know. Where do I have soil? Do I have soil that can do this? And how much can I grow myself? And how does that work? And what seasons? Where I live, what can I grow properly? Oh, well, it's a choice. There's guys living in the inner city of New York. You could just go and hunt. And they're like, what are you talking about? Hunt where? I barely see trees. I see trees on TV more than I do in real life. What are you talking about? Well, it's a choice. No, it's not. It could be, but it's a very far off choice. Very far off choice, especially when there's other things pushed in your face. You can say, play Christian music. Go find out about the Christian artists first. I've seen a few Christian artists where all of a sudden I see them doing the hand symbols and everything. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then I see them mixing with the hip hop guys. And I'm like, oh, what is this? You can even say, well, don't even listen to music. Just go listen to a pastor. And then I see somebody on stage and this guy has ladies twerking in front of his congregation. And I'm like, okay, well, is this what you're talking about? Then there's another guy, you go watch Joel Osteen, and then you hear that there's money inside his wall. And then when people need to come into his church for refuge, he's like, no. And then there's Kenneth Copeland, and then he has 2 jets, and you're like, but you said just watch pastors. These are pastors. It's not as easy as it seems. Go try and do all these things all at once. Go check out the proper Christian artists. Make sure they're not connected to anyone who might be connected to some wild Hollywood dipped in baby oil evil type stuff. So figure out who their publishing is. Figure out who they actually have as an audio engineer. Figure out what label they're a part of. Figure out who they're connected to, if they're connected to anybody. Figure all that out before you even play a song. Don't just go by the words. You can't trust the words. You don't know what's in the words. Oh, man, it goes deep. Oh, boy, it goes deep. It goes deep. So much deception. Exactly. So much deception. It's crazy. You can't just make a little switch here and there. But you could try, and you should. Who owns them? Exactly. Figure out who owns them when you talk about a Christian artist. Go look into that congregation. What are they really for? Oh, I listen to Kirk Franklin. Oh, Kirk Frank, really? Catch that guy wearing lipstick on any given day, doing all sorts of weird dance moves, gyrating on people. What? Huh? Oh, that's just some good old fashioned. No, it's not. It's wild, man. I'm telling you. Anyway, you got a little shortcut. I'll play a little. Should I play a little bit more of this? I think that was just a minute. I'll play another minute. Let me just see.
The reason I was lingering on the creation of the Nephilim is because it suggests this idea that sounds really radical when you first think about it, that there are hybrids, spirit, human together. But then as you talk about it a little bit and you realize that every culture has always believed this. In fact, Jesus is described as the union of God and a human woman. It's like, actually, it's a central concept everywhere all the time. Like, it's not shocking.
Yeah.
Right? I
not in a sexual way in that case. Yeah. Be clear. Yeah.
Right. Not in a sexual way.
Yeah.
Right.
But yes. Yeah. Yeah.
This baby is the product of God's spirit and a human woman.
Right. And Christ is the express image of God. Right. He is the fullness of the image.
Right. And the Greek myths tell different but related stories about people being. So why is it crazy? And I think people have, lived in the world for a while. Why is it crazy to someone have a feeling when you're talking to someone that this is not, that there's something else going on here? That this person's not, does this still happen?
Yeah, I think.
I love that Tucker's going here. He's basically acting like, he's basically asking, hey, man, like, there's some people I talk to, especially Tucker in DC for so long. There's some people he talks to where he's probably like, this is not full human, or the way that this person thinks, there's something else lingering inside of them. And we've all had that type of experience with a person, right? I was trying to explain it with Kash Patel yesterday. I was like, he has this different type of energy, because somebody compared him to Jesse on Fire, but I'm like, Jesse on Fire has this, he seems like he's amped up, but Kash Patel seems like he's looking around real quick, and like, if you turn your back for too long, someone's going to put a black bag over your head and just throw you in a truck. And then he's just like, okay, let's go. Come on, Dan, let's go. And you're like, what the hell? He has this weird energy about him. Very odd. And as you look at the administration, and any administration, really, I'm not going to just single this one out, you see them all get together in this weird group think, and they don't seem regular. They really don't seem like normal people. It seems like there's something else at play with all of them. I mean, like, the White House correspondent dinner, just a little while ago, out of nowhere, after it happens, this crazy thing, they're all like standing on stage and they're all like, it's like, did something that traumatizes most people forever. At least give it to Erica there. At least she was like, I just want to go home. Why so sad? The rest of them were like, oh, POTUS on stage. Yes, this is a good time. It's like, what? And there's too many examples of that.
I have felt that way really strongly about people in charge a couple of times. Not just I disagree with them. I think you're a bad person. It's not even that. It's like, what is this?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I have only kind of thankfully met a person like that once in my life. It was in a part of my pastoral training in a forensic psych ward. I met a person who had done, I won't describe what, because it's hideous and you won't be able to get it out of your head, but had done horrific things to a child, and that's how he ended up there.
Yes.
But who enjoyed bragging about it and describing it in detail to people and watching the look on their faces. Right? Like that level of gone. So there are people like that. And
did you feel as you talked to this person or listened to this person that this was not fully human, or this was some kind of hybrid?
You could look in his eyes and see that there was something inhuman there.
I've had that same experience with people. Not quite as cartoonish and obvious as that, but still like, what is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is this?
I mean, so we would say in the church that to become like Christ, to be formed in the likeness of God, is to become truly human. That's what it means to be human.
Yes.
And so to the degree which you go down the other road, you become something inhuman.
Mm-hmm.
St. John Chrysostom, in one of his homily.
That is I've never heard it said. That is what it is to become completely human. And that I've never heard it said like that. That makes so much sense, because when you talk about the kindness, or when they were talking about loving someone, and that's God's love and it's coming through you, and the kindness and the grace and the forgiving trespasses like we forgive those who trespass against us. And then that's what it is to be human. Wow. Man, good interview, man.
Is talking to, so he's preaching in Constantinople to just regular people.
4th century.
Yeah. End of the 4th, beginning of the 5th. Yeah. And he says to his people, he says, so you believe that if someone dies a violent death, they become a demon, right? So we kind of had that cultural idea too, right? Somebody dies some kind of violent or horrible death. Yeah. They come back as this vengeful ghost or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, murder victims haunt the house where they were killed.
Yeah. So they apparently had that kind of idea too. And he says, that's incorrect. He says it is people who live like demons who become demons. So in the same way that there is an actual transformation of humanity as we're formed in the likeness of God, there is an actual transformation of humanity into something else.
Of course, and it's obvious. You become how you live, for sure.
When you go down that other road, it's an actual metaphysical transformation of who you are, even to the point where, so a big part of the understanding of what's going on with the Nephilim before the flood is that a lot of the demonic spirits that are talked about later in scripture and after the flood are understood to be the spirits of those Nephilim, of those dead Nephilim. This is explicit in like the book of Jubilees, which is a Jewish text from the period in between the Old and New Testaments, but a very important one. If you read like Josephus's Jewish Antiquities, he's cribbing from the history in Jubilees all the time. He just accepts it as historical. And it talks about at the time of the flood, the Nephilim are wiped out, they all die. And they have sort of a leader who's named Mastema. And Mastema comes to God and wants to strike this bargain with him. Don't send us all into the abyss. Don't send us all into the lake of fire. Let some of us stay on the earth. We promise if you let us do that, we'll only torment bad people. We'll only torment wicked people. And in the book of Jubilees, God agrees to allow 10% of them to remain to torment wicked people, but it says that God's motive is he wants to use that to bring wicked people to repentance, right? So there's sort of a theodicy going on there, right?
Interesting. Very interesting. Never heard of that. Never even heard of the book of Jubilee before, if I'm honest. Never heard of that. Got to look into that sometime. But interesting stuff, man. Interesting stuff. I mean, I'm glad we're here. And listen, you guys, you stay with me the whole time here. We're going to go from here and we're going to get dipped in Kool-Aid. And I got to tell you, I think the Kool-Aid's a psyop, and we're going to talk more about that when we get there. But there's some hilarity in store for you guys. Whoa, why'd this take over the whole screen like that? There's some hilarity in store. But I want to move on to the next clip. That's why I'm trying to take all the parts that kind of link together. Not to say that it's not a good interview, but all of the, as you can see, there's a theme here, right? And then the next one, they discuss the fact that these rituals in magic have been talked about for ages, are still current and very real. I've touched on this a little bit already, but we're going to have them touch on it as well. Let's jump in.
Which, to the extent I have read them, are only hinting at various things, and you have no idea exactly what it means. It is like reading an esoteric text. It's like you're not read in, so you don't really interpret it clearly. But there is a fixation on blood, on genetics, and there seems to have been that for since the time that we're talking about. Like, blood, human sacrifice, sex, not just for pleasure, or reproduction, but as a ritual. Like, these are ongoing motifs through human history, right?
Aleister Crowley's a real person. Yeah.
100%. But I mean, the Incas were doing the same thing that, I don't know, some remote African tribe was doing, with Canaanites were doing. It's like everyone's doing the same thing, is fixated on the same 4 or 5 themes.
I am by no means a flat earther, but early NASA, there was some weird stuff with some of those scientists.
Oh, big time.
Yeah. So that's definitely right. That and
well, so, but I guess what I'm saying is, if different cultures at different times throughout history are focused on exactly the same kind of non-obvious ideas.
Right.
Wow, you're so right, Travis. There was no doodle-doodle-doo. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Doodle-doodle-doo, whoop whoop. I can't believe it. Oh my gosh. I do apologize. It has been so long since I missed one of those. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that, Travis. Thank you very much for reminding me. That is crazy. I apologize. All right, let's keep going.
Spirit world breeds with people. Technology comes from the spirit world. Blood is somehow magical. Human sacrifice is like the source of power. Like who would think of these things? Like
right.
Nobody.
This isn't a coincidence that just
that's what I'm
randomly
saying.
they all have
That,
the same
they're
bad
rooted
idea.
in some kind of reality that
right. And it's a real, like I said, that you're going to embody and participate in something, right, spiritually. And
Right.
as Christianity has receded and been lost in quote unquote Western countries, right, we should expect more and more of that to come intruding back in, because that's the other option, frankly.
No, you would expect something brand new, and like people would think of like a new religious expression that isn't based on human sacrifice, but they never have.
Right. Well, if it was just humans making it up,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's
But
obvious.
if not, then,
It's obvious to me. I mean, I'm not a priest unlike you, so maybe this like I'm just figuring this out. But like, clearly, human sacrifice does bring dark power to the people who commit it.
Yes.
Like, duh.
Yes. They weren't doing this stuff because it didn't work. Right? They were having.
It's such a good point, because there's so many people who say, I forget who it was on Rogan, but somebody was like, I don't believe in that. And I think Rogan said, or maybe it was vice versa, but the end result was, well, they believe in it. They believe in it and they're doing it currently. Like, you can't just be like, well, I don't think that's real. It's like, they do. They're doing it. There's a bunch of people right now with a goat head on in a forest right now doing their thing. They believe it, and they're pulling things in. I don't really know what's going on at CERN. Well, they believe it, and they're doing it, and they're making it happen right now. In vice versa, it's like, oh, well, I don't really believe in Christ. It's like, oh, well, I've seen the works. There's so many people who've seen the works of God happen as soon as someone came to Christ. It's like, you can say you don't believe it if you want, but there's people who are executing on it, right? You can say, like, when they came to the JE documents, you'd be like, oh, I don't believe in that whole thing. Well, the documents are there. The images are there. There's video. There's audio. It's there. Sorry. If you don't believe it, it's still there. There's a lot of, it's just, I don't know. I find that, I can't remember the episode. I would pull it up if I could. Like, I can't remember, but it's so true. Like, they're not doing this stuff currently because it doesn't work. They're not doing it to be foolish, right? They're not getting dressed up and doing all these things. They're not doing it because it doesn't work. And they're not doing it just because they're degenerates. There's a thing to it. There's a power to it. You ever seen, for all you anime nerds out there, I think it's is it Full Metal Alchemist? I believe it is. But they touch on this theme quite a bit, where they learn that if sacrifice can bring about power. They start learning that, and they start doing it. It's like there's something to that, I think that happens again. I still think that happens in Hollywood. I think that's a real thing. I don't think every passing is as natural as they might say it is. I really don't. I think you sign up. I think at the end of the day, that's what you sign up for. I think what you get in exchange is fame, fortune, and all these great things, and the worship and everything. I think that's what you get in exchange, but I think the real thing you sign up for is to pass away in that way, the way that they're talking about right now.
Having some kind of experience. They were having some kind of, something was happening there.
So witchcraft is real.
Yeah. And when you read just purely pagan sources.
Yeah. Somebody said, isn't Gary a giant? See that? And that's the wild thing, right? I mean, that is why the evil within him is so rampant, because he still has that giant nature, right? Can't control himself. 3 rows of teeth, I've heard,
Right. They're kind of honest about it. Right. And this stuff is, so we've we've received the classics through the Enlightenment, which means we purge all the, not just anything quote unquote supernatural, but even religious elements. There are still people publishing books talking about how Plato and Aristotle were not religious. Right? You know, they represent these sort of, because the figures of the Enlightenment sort of recast the ancient philosophers as versions of them. You know, and since they had rejected the religion of their time, well, clearly someone like Plato or Aristotle can't have accepted the religion of their
They were like enthusiastic polytheists.
Yes. Yeah. Aristotle's school was in a temple of Apollo, right? They were on board. They nuanced things, right? But I mean, in Plato's dialogue, Socrates talks about how he has this demon, this daemon, this spirit that dwells within him and whispers wisdom to his soul. Right? Like,
yeah.
There's no, you know, it's Christians who come along and say that's a bad thing. Right. And then post-Christian Enlightenment people say, oh, well, that's silly. So we'll just
it's not a thing. Yeah.
Right? But they're very honest about it. Right. I mean, ancient authors are very honest. What's happening at the Bacchanalia, the actual Bacchanalia, is people are being possessed by the Bacchae, by these spirits, and participating in drug and alcohol, right, in public.
So
at these feasts.
Again, the point of it is not just sex for pleasure. Let's go get laid.
And who is to say that this stopped? They're talking about Aristotle. Who's to say that this stopped? Who's to say that it was just like, well, he said he had a thing whispering to him and it brought him all this knowledge and or wisdom, as he put it. Who's to say that this stops out of nowhere? It just went, well, I mean, that it's just not a thing. It's not real. That's the real deception that we all go through. That we just think none of this actually really happened. You know, I didn't even know about Aristotle in that whole thing. Something whispering to him. I wouldn't have had to, you know, be a super Christian person to know that that's probably not a good thing. Especially when you say it's a demon. You know how much do you need thrown in your face? You know what I mean? Let's go to the last clip here. I think it's the last one. 1 hour. This is 1 hour 15. Okay, and this is where they discuss the transformation, how salvation and transformation works. I found this very interesting because what he's about to talk about is exactly, people have replaced what he's going to talk about right now with ChatGPT and other things. So let's listen to this.
Transform their lives. So I choose to look at it that way, right?
Yes,
rather than the other.
I think that's the right way to look at it.
Yeah.
So what is your advice when someone comes to you in bondage? Like what is the process for being set free?
Yeah. So I think the very first part is you have to become part of something and submit yourself to something bigger than yourself. Right. So in my case, obviously that's the church. Right. Because again, you're not just an individual out there, right? Your brain is not just closed in this box and you're just doing your own thing. You're participating in these spiritual realities, whether you like to or not, right? And so you have to submit yourself to something, to being transformed by something. And that involves becoming part of a community, right? Sharing bonds with other people. That community brings accountability, right? It brings a change of life, right? Because you can't live a life in isolation. Aristotle said, for someone to live alone, they have to be either a beast or a god.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, you have to find this life in community.
Think about what he just said. In order to live alone, you have to be a beast or a god. When I talk about these things being replaced, you know, think about how many people only communicate alone. They feel like they have community, but they're actually alone all the time. Right. The younger people go through this a lot, where a lot of their relationships are just online and they feel like they have a relationship, but they actually don't. Now, you're either a beast or a god. What is the thing that we've been told that we are as we move deeper into these technologies? Well, everybody believes that they have some godlike power or some godlike technology is being built through this, ChatGPT, Claude, etc. Like that is becoming the thing, and that's our extension, and that makes us very smart. Where we used to go to a priest, I've talked about this before. I think Tucker's talked about this too. where people used to go to priests or their father or their brother or their family in general or community, they now go to ChatGPT. They now can just say, let me just ask this question here and have this conversation here. When in reality, you're supposed to take a little walk with God, as I call it. I'm sure many of you call it that too. You go on a walk with God, you speak out, into, you talk audibly, or maybe you don't. You just think about it, right? And then you kind of get your answers. You get your clarity from that. You bare your soul to your father because you can tell him anything, your mother because you can tell him anything, your brother, and you talk things out. You ration things out that way. Like the way he's saying salvation actually comes, a lot of people have decided, hey, you know what? Salvation doesn't come that way. I'm not. First off, people aren't even worried about salvation. Honestly, how often do you even hear that word? But instead, they turn to the material and they turn to tech now more than anything. Yeah, very worrisome. Very worrisome.
As I was talking about, you find this transformation through participating in what God is doing in the world. Well, God is loving someone. I have to be with that person and love them, right? God is having compassion. I have to be with that person, have compassion for them and be kind for them. It's not something you can practice off by yourself. Definitely not something you could practice on the internet, right? That's, and so you need to become a part of that. And then within that, you need to form spiritual relationships within the Orthodox Church. That we have the idea of spiritual fatherhood that's very important, where you have a person who you trust deeply, right? Who you sort of open up and bare your soul to, right? Who you, someone other than yourself, who you say, this is what I think I should do. Am I right?
Literally what you say to ChatGPT. Literally what people are saying to ChatGPT right now. This is what I think I should do. Am I right? And then ChatGPT goes, of course you're right. What do you mean? Let's break down how you're right. Here, let me give you 5 points. Then there's no need to talk to anybody, But that is the Tucker Carlson episode, guys. I mean, we went deep there. I do apologize for anybody who's like, oh man, a priest and blah, blah, blah. But man, is that good stuff. That's good for the soul. That's a good cup of coffee right there. That's what that is for me. So I absolutely love that episode. I love that they did that. And I hope there's more of it. Hope he does more of that. I love when they do interviews like that. I would love for Candace to do an interview like that too. Just to, I think she has I think it'd be really cool. I mean, she made a Hunter Biden interview really cool. So I think she'd make an interview like that spectacular. The story of the Full Metal Alchemist always felt strangely realistic. Yeah, because it is. Isn't that what they're doing? What is war? It's literally you saying, I got 10,000 and I'll sacrifice them. The other guy says, I have 20,000. I'll sacrifice them. Well, let's go. And then they both just climb into bed and say, bye-bye, guys. They're in bed, warm, kids, everything nice, calamity going on. What is that other than sacrifice? It's what it actually is. And does it not bring about power? To the people who win, don't they gain power? Isn't that exactly what happens in war? Just saying. Anyway, we got Baron, ladies and gentlemen. We got Baron. 4,200 of you here. Without having a deep focus on Candace. That's a big achievement for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. But I mean, I couldn't pass up the Tucker Carlson interview. I just couldn't pass it up. I mean, it's just so good. Again, I don't know who said that I should watch that, but I was like, man, you hit the nail on the head. They know me. Whoever that was, you know me. You're like, I think you're going to like this. Oh my gosh. How right you were. Wow. You have no idea, man. That was just, I could watch things like that all day. And I'm gonna follow that guy, that priest. You know, someone said I should. I think it was Big Goy Polloy said I should listen to more priests, Orthodox priests. I have. There's a couple. One of them I reached out to, and I was like, "Would you do an interview?" He didn't want to. He's like, "I don't want to do any interviews." I was like, "Okay, whatever." But yeah, very interesting. Different type of perspective than what I'm used to, for sure. Anyways, guys, we got Baron here. Baron, ladies and gentlemen, Big Dan Granddad, as we call him. Papa, you know, abuelo, abuelo, yes, sí, abuelo. We got Baron in the house. Now, I didn't realize this when I watched the rest of his episode today, because I was chilling. I was up a little early. I was doing a walk. I already listened to the other interview that we just went through. So I was like, let me listen to the rest of Baron's stuff. I didn't realize Baron goes off on Erica Kirk the way that he does. I did not realize this. I didn't realize that the Morfar Coleman. I didn't realize that the end of his episode, or not the end of the episode, but the end of the show before the reviews of the supers, I did not realize that he was just going to go off on Erica the way he did. So let's get into that a little bit. We have one clip of that and then another one. Let's play that.
This area up here. This area over here. He hung out up there for 8 minutes, allegedly. And then he scampered across the roof and got in a prone position right there. Imagine if there had been people standing right there. Well, they would have had a perfect view of that, wouldn't they? They would have been able to see the shooter scurry into position, but because they were blocked off, they were pushed down here where the trees in the Sorensen Center blocked them off, or over here where this tree blocked them off. What an interesting set of circumstances that is.
Wow. I played this. I'm a little early in the part I actually wanted to play, but that's crazy. I didn't even realize that. And on top of that, with what Baron just said, they did have people on that part of the roof. There was definitely at least 3 people on that part of the roof. And nobody saw him scurry, as Baron put it. No one saw that. A big black blob just sitting there, you know, shining, because, you know, glasses, all the different things he had, just, you know, giving off little shines. No one saw that.
What a terrible set of coincidences. In other words, had they not blocked that area off, Charlie Kirk might very well be alive. Because one of the hundreds of students might have gone, hey, directly in my line of sight, because of my convenient positioning directly above Charlie Kirk's tent. I can see there's a man dressed in all black, and he looks like he's wielding a weapon, getting into the shooting position. Clear the stage. Everybody run for your lives. I mean, it's a better read of it than, he told us he had the roof covered. No, he never said that. He never said he had the Sorensen Center, the Losi Center roof covered. It's just absolutely 100% not true. Absolutely 100% not true. Now, back to our favorite friend here. Because now they get to tell us who's a real Christian and who's not. And this is always my favorite discussion.
Baron hates this podcast. As I was listening to it, Baron has so much contempt for this podcast.
Love it when people tell me who is and isn't a Christian. I get emails about this all the time, if you don't believe me.
As you well know, but this is for the viewers and listeners, Jack, that Jesus and the apostles called Satan a murderer, liar, accuser, and slanderer who wants to steal, kill, and destroy.
All those things.
We had a murder on 9/10. What have we had since then? Lies, accusations, and slanders.
Just like you did with the chief moments ago. You lied about the chief's text message, what it said, what it meant. You accused the chief of not covering the roof and therefore letting Charlie Kirk die. And then you slandered him. Lies, accusations, and slander. Yeah, I agree, Frank. That's tough. The apostles would have been very disappointed in your performance.
Seeking.
And you can spread that over to Blake. Andrew has done the same thing. Erica's done the same thing via interviews, Barry Weiss. You know, you see a lot of that inner circle doing that exact thing that Frank is talking about. But that goes along with that thing that I always say on this channel, which is they accuse you of what you're guilty of. That's how it works.
To steal, kill, and
They accuse you of what they're guilty of. Sorry.
destroy.
Yeah.
And people don't believe in the demonic. Jack, how could it be more obvious?
Yeah.
I agree, Jack. I agree, Frank. I agree. 100%. That is demonic.
Exactly.
They're attacking a widow.
Oh, it's always the widow. It's always the widow. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to be the one to bring it to you. No widow in the history of mankind has ever done anything wrong. That's just a fact. No widow has ever been accused of telling a lie. No widow's ever been accused of stealing, plotting, scheming. None. Widows get a free pass. Did you know that? It's true. I hate to be the one to tell you. It's a dead honest truth.
And they don't care.
A widow.
Not only attacking a widow in her grief, an assassination, martyrdom. I say that because so many of them claim to be Christians. That's impossible.
Yeah, they're
Jack, don't judge. No. I am supposed to judge in the way of fruit inspection.
That's right.
I know this. The Holy Spirit who dwells within a Christian would never allow those kinds of words or actions.
No.
He will not allow his kids to be like that.
The Holy Spirit will not allow you to accuse a widow of anything. So we go back to the Corey Richins murder in Utah.
I mean, yeah, he's making a great point here, Baron. But I mean, this is something that they've been doing the entire time. The entire time, it's just been if you do this, God hates you. If you think you're going to do this thing, God hates you. If you're going to question someone around Charlie, God hates you. God doesn't like what you're doing. You're going against God. Then it upped its way to evil and demonic in regards to Candace. Then we all got branded as evil demonic by Gary and Graham Allen. And it just keeps going like that over and over and over and over again. I mean, it's just so repetitive. It's you know why it really gets to me? Because I know that's the thing that drives so many people away from organized religion. Christianity, especially Christianity. That's the thing. You encounter a guy like that, and you just go, screw this stuff. What am I doing? I'm not doing this. I don't want to be like him. I got to be in a room with guys like this all the time. No, I'm not doing it. And they just move away from it, and they never come back because that's their experience. So many people get that impression, and so many people get that impression as they listen to a guy like that in a video like this. They get that impression and they go, oh yeah, this is the thing that I was told. This is what Christians are. This is how they are. This is what they do. If you question something, they point the finger at you. Someone said Jack's wig is demonic. I saw that comment. Uncalled for. Absolutely uncalled for. You interrupted me. Okay. And it's very funny, but you interrupted me. And I've lost my train of thought because now I'm thinking about his wig again. Well, there you go. There you go. Well, you remember what I did yesterday? This is his wig. This is what his wig looks like. His wig looks like this. Well, Frank, I know exactly where you're going with this. Every time the camera's off of him. Well, how's everybody doing? It's basically the same thing. If I acted like I had hair, if I just rolled up like this one day, if I just rolled up, hey guys, went and got a hair transplant the other day. You'd be like, this mega right here. And I was just like, what's going on, everybody? Let's talk about Tucker Carlson interview. You'd be like, how dare he? How dare he? Who does he think he is? Who is he fooling right now? I'm just like, I get a comb. I have a comb. Obviously, I don't have a comb on hand. How's everybody doing? Just straighten myself out. Sorry. Had to get my hair right today. You guys know how it is, right? Oh my gosh, it's so ridiculous. People always say they never see my head. Go watch the earlier episodes, man. I kept it set. Go check out episode 1. I kept it so sexy. Episode 1. Woo-wee. You wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. Anyway, let's keep going here.
Those prosecutors were not Christians. They couldn't have been, because those prosecutors stood up there for weeks, months, maybe, and made the case day after day after day that Corey Richards was guilty of murder. That's what they did. That's what they did. They accused a widow. And Frank and Jack have just told us that you can't be a Christian and accuse a widow of any wrongdoing. So thank you. I'm glad we're clear. I love their moral authority. Now, I'm getting towards the final clips I'm playing here. This is one of my favorites, because I found out all this alien talk from the White House might have actually to do with the Charlie Kirk case. It might have to do with the Charlie Kirk case.
Conspiring to take out Charlie.
Because it couldn't have been a person who had been indoctrinated into cultural Marxism and transgenderism who was upset that Charlie was speaking the truth and that he wrote "and eat this fascist" on his bullet when he shot him. That's just too simple. There's got to be an integrated big conspiracy theory that this guy was just a patsy, apparently.
Yeah, exactly right.
Now, if that were true, Jack, if that were true, he's not really guilty, Tyler Robinson. Don't you think his parents would be screaming right now? You got the wrong guy. He's innocent. They turned him in. Don't you?
They were exactly.
Yeah. Don't you think he would be screaming right now? I didn't do it. I mean, this is just.
It's possible.
Anything's possible, Jack. It's possible. Aliens may have done it.
Could have been the aliens, guys. Could have been the aliens who did it. That's where we are now. Could have been the aliens. I don't know. Could have been the aliens.
Baron's so pissed. Baron seems like he would fight one of these guys if he had the opportunity. He seems like he would definitely scrap with one of these guys if they even gave him a little bit of pushback, which makes sense. Does a whole lot of research. And then the next thing you know, it's PSYOP guys. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Hey, how's everybody doing? We are at the PSYOP Network here. PSYOP Network. Glad y'all could join us today. Frank, what do we got today? Oh, we got so much going on today, man. We just have a lot. You got to remember what he wrote on the bullets, He would have been screaming. I didn't do it. You got to remember that. See, that's just don't give him too much now, Frank. That's just a little bit of what Frank has for you guys today. All for the low, low price of $49.99. That is 89 payments of $49.99. And just 4% of your soul. Just 4%. That's right. Just 4% of everybody's soul. They hate me in the back because I'm doing this for you guys. They don't like when I make a deal like this with you guys. We got Satan in the back and he is itching. He wants 40% of your soul. Just 4% of your soul. Not today, Satan. Just the PSYOP Network. Oh my gosh. I got to contact Scarica. I got to figure out how to make a sketch of sorts. I'm going to be doing that type of thing. I can't wait. I can't explain it to you guys. I'll explain it to you guys later. You'll see it before I explain it. I'm going to do some stuff, man. I got some stuff on mine. Anyway, let's keep going.
But he would not be the first person who's innocent of the crime he's been charged with to remain silent. His parents wouldn't be the first people to remain silent and follow the instructions of their attorneys that they entrust with their child's life. So I don't think you can draw a big conclusion out of this. This is a really weird situation where they say, if the criminal defendant doesn't do these things, then he's guilty. I asked a very obvious question. Let's say he did. Let's say Tyler Robinson in his next court appearance goes, I didn't do this. You guys know that, right? You got the wrong guy. I did not climb the Losi Center roof. I did not take out Granddaddy's 30-06, and I did not shoot Charlie Kirk. You've got the wrong guy. And let's say his parents said, hey, we didn't turn him in because we thought he did it. We turned him in because he thought he was in grave danger. And we wanted to make sure he was safe, and we trusted the local sheriff to keep him. Let's say both of those things happened. Is Frank going to go on with Jack and say, you know, I've been looking at this case all wrong. Maybe he didn't do it. Or would he say, well, of course that's what a guilty person is going to say. Of course they're going to say he didn't do it. Of course the parents are going to say he didn't do it. Because of course they want what's best for their child. I think that's probably what would happen. And so this is one of those situations where they've made up their mind and no set of facts is going to change their mind. No set of facts is going to change their mind unless you believe someone other than Tyler Robinson may have done it. Lest you believe it, let's hear what we think of our dear friend Erica, the one they accidentally trashed on at least 2 occasions already. But I'm not going to play it over here until I pull it up on the screen because I would never do such a thing. That's amateur stuff.
I'm trying to remember if I heard him say something wrong. I'm trying to remember if he said something rude to somebody. I cannot remember if Charlie was short or in a bad mood. I don't remember Charlie ever hurting someone's feelings. Of course, he was not perfect. But I've never seen him flub up.
And I've never seen any of that out of Erica either. And
are you kidding me? You've never seen any of that out of Erica? Oh, I'll let you continue, Frank.
She has taken the most heat and has to live with the worst event imaginable. And she forgives Tyler Robinson at the memorial service only 9 days later. I mean, she's a superhero.
Only in Christ can that happen.
Yes.
And
guys, she's a superhero. She's a superhero. Now we're kind of understanding what it was they were trying to accomplish when they trotted her out there to forgive him. That young man, I forgive him. Now we know what they were doing. Now we know what they were up to. All right, final clip, and it's short. But I want to go into the last thing. This is honestly where they end. So they had an arc. They had a story arc, and they didn't know where to put this in. So they threw it in at the end, right before they broke. I mean, like seriously, 30 seconds before they got off, they throw in how Erica's a superhero, but not only a superhero, an accomplished superhero who actually didn't need Charlie.
But, people don't understand. Erica was established long before she met Charlie. Miss Arizona.
That's right.
CEO of 2 companies.
Yeah.
She was not the CEO of 2 companies. She had a single nonprofit, Everyday Heroes Like Us, that never filed a tax return, never filed a 990 that I can find. If it did, it has not made it to the public record, and it doesn't look like one's ever been filed because it never raised or spent over $50,000. That's not the CEO of a company. Then she established a clothing line, allegedly. The clothing line was not a separate company. It was basically a DBA of the Everyday Heroes Like Us charity, meaning it never raised or spent over $50,000 because it was part of the charity. That's called proclaimed streetwear. Guys, that's not the CEO of 2 companies. It's not like she was managing United Airlines and General Motors. That's the CEO of 2 companies. She was the CEO of 2 companies. No, she had a little know-nothing charity that did absolutely nothing for a decade and a half. It did nothing. It still has done nothing. They gave some toys for tots one year in Romania, as best I can tell. And for some reason worked in high trafficking areas like Huco, Costa Rica. Jaco, Costa Rica. Other than that, we can find, another high trafficking area, Constantine, Romania. But other than that, I can't find much that the charity ever did. But this idea, she was Miss Arizona. She was CEO of 2 companies. She was established before Charlie. Charlie didn't make her. She made Charlie.
Sharp.
Very sharp. And she reminds me a lot of my wife. I mean, she is.
Now, that's just creepy, by the way. That's just
Baron hates all aspects of this podcast. He didn't even let it run for 30 seconds. That was so good. I would love to see a debate between anyone in the Turning Point inner circle and Baron. Oh, with Frank, with Blake, with Andrew, Blake and Andrew versus Baron. I would love to see it. I mean, what I would give to see that pay-per-view. Oh my God. See that right there. That would perform better than that halftime show they did. They need to do something like that. I would love to see something like that. I mean, they just, and at the end of the day, the reason that they're doing this, yeah, it's hard to tell because it's a really bad interview, right? It's not even an interview. It's two guys just, talking about Philadelphia and Erica, and that's it. It's really weird. But at the end of the day, they're doing this as, I don't even know if I could say, yeah, someone said damage control. I don't even know if it's damage control because what are they controlling, right? I guess it's like narrative control, right? You got to remember they do have, I wouldn't say both of them do, but there is a background of psychological operations afoot within Turning Point. There are people who are actually well-versed. Some people have written books on psychological operations. Those people are connected to the McCoy family, just in the sense of, them all serving in the same realm of psychological operations. And then almost Rob McCoy's father and Paul E. Vallely kind of serving at the same time. Like, it would be very surprising if they didn't know each other. And then Rob McCoy coming after that. I don't know. So maybe they're doing, someone said convincing themselves. I mean, kind of, but I don't know. The whole thing is just crazy to do this.
it's creepy. Go on, tell everybody how wonderful this person is. And when she reminds me a lot of my wife.
Someone that doesn't get super emotional, and she knows the facts and she focuses.
Are you talking about my wife?
Oh, you're so funny, Jack. That's so funny. You talking about my wife? You talking about my wife?
At all of our wives.
Notice your wife and my wife
and Erica,
they're
very similar.
They're practically the same people. They're great.
Not
because God gave us that because
Yes.
they're married to crazy people.
Oh, they're so funny. They're so funny. Oh, these guys are so funny. That's how they ended the program, by the way. On that total bit of awkwardness. Talking about my wife? And God gave us the completely crazy people. That's weird, guys. That's a weird way to end a podcast.
Oh my
It's a very weird way to end a podcast.
That is so funny.
It's clear that they had some sort of a mission. They set out to accomplish something. What that something was is kind of apparent when you look at the total arc of it. So they needed to establish a few things. One, they needed to establish that Charlie Kirk had not turned his back on our greatest ally. And they spent 45 minutes or so basically doing it. The second thing they needed to establish was that, oh gosh, I lost my way here. Oh, that Tyler Robinson did it. Charlie never turned his back on our greatest ally, and Tyler Robinson did it. And the third thing they needed to accomplish was Erica is the preferred and perfect replacement. Those are their talking points. These are the TPUSA talking points. This is the Fed slop story. Charlie never turned his back on our greatest ally. Yeah, but what about the text message where he said that? Oh, he was just venting, just blowing off a little steam. He was coming around. You should have been on that Zoom call. You should have been on the Zoom call. Josh Hammer set him straight. Never turned his back on our greatest ally. You're out of your mind. So that's talking point one. They've been on this for like 8.5 months now. Talking point two. Absolutely, Tyler Robinson did it. That or space aliens, one or the other.
That or space aliens. Got to respect it, right? I can't wear as much tinfoil as I do and not respect that answer. I would love to hear aliens type of thing about what's happened with Charlie and Tyler Robinson. I would love to hear that. If anybody has a theory about space aliens, I mean, I'm obviously the person to bring that to. I'll listen to that in a heartbeat. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, people are starting to realize that something's afoot with this interview. They're starting to realize something's going on here. Sam Parker, he said, Frank Turek caught telling contradictory stories about phone calls he allegedly made or didn't when Charlie was pronounced gone in the hospital. They can't both be true. Was he lying before or now or both? Why lie?
It was my son and daughter.
Listen to this.
Trying to remember the sequence of things. I either got the first call from you or from Mikey. It was one or the other. It was very, very close. I do believe you were the first one.
That was after we got to the hospital.
Okay, then I got the first call from Mikey.
Because I was in the emergency room after we got Charlie there.
I remember.
I called you.
I remember what you were saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mikey called, and he said, Jack, get everyone in the world praying.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much blood.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much. And he was beside himself.
Okay, Frank Turk, the guy on the left in the blue shirt, just admitted that he called Jack Hibbs, the guy on the right in the long sleeve shirt. Frank says he called Jack at the hospital or from the hospital. But previously, Frank Turk had told Megyn Kelly something completely different. Take a listen.
I know you had your phone on and your son was hearing all of this too. So, I mean, he must have been traumatized just listening to it all.
Yeah, it was my son and daughter-in-law. I mean, he's 35 years old, and I was FaceTiming them because they love Charlie. And I was just, first I was FaceTiming my wife, and then I said, let me call Spencer. And so I started FaceTiming him.
During the event?
During the event, yeah, both during the event. And then when the shot rang out, I just, as I say, started heading toward the car, and I just put the phone in my back pocket. I didn't turn it off. I just, instinctively. And by the time I got to the hotel, I pulled it out. They were still there. So they heard the whole thing.
So did you catch that? Frank Turek said that he had his phone on FaceTime going in his back pocket the entire time until he got to the hotel, which was after he had been at the hospital. And they were still on FaceTime when he got to the hotel. How did he call Jack Hibbs from the hospital if his phone was accidentally on FaceTime the whole time? He's lying. Can't have happened this way. One of these two stories is wrong, or they both are.
There you go. There you have it. And there will be more. There will be more people figuring out certain things, revisiting what he's already said. There's going to be more and more and more of this. That's just going to happen. So that's the first one that we've unlocked so far. So what actually happened? And a good question from Sam Parker here. Was he lying before or now or both? Why lie at all? That's going to be the question going forward. And that's why I say, like, such a bad idea to do something like this. Such a crazily bad idea to do something like this, by which I mean the podcast that nobody asked for. Absolutely nobody. And I say absolutely nobody, full confidence, because the people who support these guys, they don't need to hear this again. They're already just like, that's it. That's it. Case closed. We're all done here. They don't need to hear it. And we don't believe you. So we don't need to hear it. Literally. No one wanted this. No one. Yeah. Hopefully it brings about some truth. Now, towards what we were talking about before, again, with Barron asked the question, does Turning Point really want Blake working after learning what he has potentially, allegedly done? I think he was fired for it, so I don't even think I have to say that, but just in case. And I played a little bit of this for you guys. I'm going to play some more, and then we're going to talk about this a little bit. And I'm going to make sure you guys can actually see the screen. Because I'm on fire today. There we go. Whoo! Whoo! Sometimes you listen to Baron too long, and then all of a sudden you pull a Baron. Nope, not today. Not today. And I saw he bragged about it the other day, and then he actually did it. No, not here. Not here. That's not what's going to happen to us today. No, sir. No, sir. Is that going to happen to us today? Let's go. Please like the video. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Don't brag every time they brag. No, I'm good. I'm good. Don't worry about it. I got this. I'm locked in. I'm locked in. All right.
Intimately at Fox, and I love Blake. And Blake is obviously an unusual person, but just a wonderful person and a really deeply decent person.
I mean, it's true.
And obviously, yeah, Blake's weird, but like Blake is the best. And people who love Blake really love Blake. And there's a little group of people who, we all know each other. We all talk about Blake. So Blake got caught up right at the height of all this insanity, true insanity called cancel culture. But it was more than that. It was like French Revolution stuff. And someone like, Blake is naughty. Blake is a racist. Well, actually, as I would always say, Blake is actually not a racist. And I would admit it. He's not. He's a Christian who believes that God created everybody. So he's actually not a racist. But Fox overreacted, of course, and he left. And then Fox denounced him. They tried to get me to denounce him. Suzanne Scott tried to make me denounce Blake, and I refused. Something I'm proud of. But whatever. It was just awful. It was the saddest moment in the 15 years that I spent there. And then Blake's unemployed and unemployable. And I get this and I feel terrible. And I feel like I've got a moral obligation to help Blake. But who's going to hire Blake? Because he's like in the New York Times, he's like a bad person when actually he's a great person. Charlie Kirk calls me. He's like, I'm thinking about hiring Blake. I was like, God bless you, Charlie. What's he like? I said, well, Blake's very eccentric. Like, no kidding. He's the only person who ever lost weight eating junk food. Like, he's a really unusual person. Like, we talk about Blake all day long. But he's a wonderful person and he's incredibly talented. No one disputes that. And I think you should do it. He does. Charlie and I talk about, then Blake and I talk about, we're having these like conversations behind the scenes about each other. And not only does Charlie hire Blake, he puts makes me emotional. He puts Blake on the air as if to say, I know this man. He is a good man. You will judge me for doing this. I'm doing it anyway because it's the right thing to do. And then, of course, it becomes this whole thing where Blake is like a true asset to him. But when he first did it, it was like, no, I'm doing this because it's the right thing to do. This is the last thing I'll say before turning over to Blake. I've been in this business my whole life. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. Everyone's like, oh, I'm for free speech or whatever, until it hurts me. At which point, like, sorry, pal, good luck. But Charlie pivoted against that in a way that exposed him and his group, Turning Point, to ridicule and risk. And he did it anyway. And all week I've been talking to people about this. Like, that was the acid test. Those of us in this business know how brave that was. It was the bravest thing. Anyway, sorry, Blake.
I remember talking to you about that because I actually was weighing another employment option, and I was going, as you said, I was like, I
which I think you maybe were behind that one too.
Yeah, I was desperate.
It was another option, and I remember just, I won't say what it was for, but we were talking about it, and I think the one that you really pointed out that was really important. He's like, Blake, I think the most important thing, like, Charlie is for real a sincere Christian.
Yes,
and I think you're going to want to work for someone who is a for real, sincere, deeply believing Christian.
Yes.
And
I like this app. It tells you when you're muted. Oh, very nice. Very nice. So my brag still remains. My brag still applies. There we go. Very nice. It's very funny that they talk about this part, and not going to say it's not true, but also it's like, did you have another choice? Like, you're saying you had these two choices. Is there going to be much more coming up for you as people Google your name? You go into job interviews. They see everything you've said. They can actually look at the thread. They know that it's you. Do you really have a choice? Oh, I chose Charlie because he's a sincere Christian. No, you chose Charlie because he's Charlie Kirk, and you're coming from Tucker Carlson's program. They're really good friends, and he's actually going to hire you. The other place might just be like, nah, we don't like what you did. This is kind of a for sure lock. This is my buddy. Like, obviously my buddy's he's gonna hire you, man. But again, I said this before, but I didn't have the proof because I was just like, of course Charlie must have known. He's friends with Tucker Carlson. They're close. They were so close. They talked all the time. So of course Charlie knew what Blake did. And this is just the proof of that. Charlie knew exactly what Blake was like. He knew exactly what Blake had said. He knew exactly why Blake did it and why he was focused on this lady's race or, all the nonsense of it all. He understood that. So and this is not a video to say like, oh, look at Tucker, look at what Tucker's saying, et cetera, et cetera. It's just, that was the question. No one's perfect. Yeah, of course no one's perfect. Of course no one's perfect. And then there's Mikey McCoy. So kind of trumped you there, buddy. No one's perfect. Okay, well, maybe you should Google Mikey McCoy. Walked away for our sins, lest you forget. Thanks. Anyway, stumped you there, huh? So, I'm kidding. But that was just a question. That was what Barron was posing. Like, is this someone you really want representing, having on air? It's like, yeah, they actually do. I was just speculating. I was like, I think they like it. I think they like what Blake does with Candace. I think they like it. I don't think they say, hey, you got to do this, but I think they definitely don't tell anybody, hey, stop going after Candace. Hey, Gary, now that you're kind of working with us, we need you to stop going at Candace. Hey, Balix Tones. Hey, Alex, you know what? Now that you've been in contact with us, we'd actually prefer if you stopped going at Candace and all the people who are looking into what happened to Charlie. I don't think they do that. I think they got no problem with it. And I think it's not a coincidence that the people that they do offer spots to at AMFest, which Tim Pool said he was offered a spot, as he's calling Candace a see you next Tuesday. I think Graham Allen speaking at AMFest, calling her evil and demonic. I think Gary being on the phone with Andrew Colvette, being linked up to him, and then at the same time making all these episodes about how Candace is a liar, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think that's a coincidence. It'd be a little too much. It'd be a little too much to be a coincidence. Yeah, Balix did back off. It's because he's not working with him anymore. That, you see what I mean? That's why I'm never gonna have respect for Alex again. It's not happening. I don't care if he apologized. I don't care. I'm not Candace. That's for Candace to accept. I don't do that. She doesn't lift her hand and then I lift my hand. That's not what's going on. I'll never respect that again, because it seemed like, I can't say there was, it seemed like there was some kind of incentive, and then he activated and attacked her more than anyone. Hands down, more than Tim, more than Gary. Gary's at least trying to ration it out. He's like, okay, I think I got a list of lies here, and okay, let's come on. You got to prove to these humans that you're just like they are. Come on, you can ration this out. I hate pens. At least Gary's trying. Balix was just attacking, not doing any research, not looking into the notes that he's given, nothing. He just activated because he was told to. I'll never respect that. Never. I don't care what he's saying about the administration now. I don't care what he's saying nice about Candace now. I don't care. He's not a respectable dude. For him to do that, not zero respect given. Zero. But yeah, just to show you guys that. So they did know about Blake. It's not an unknown thing. And again, like I said, for them to it was below the belt, so uncalled for. Yeah, with Alex. Yeah, it was crazy. He said she has psychosis, alcohol-induced psychosis, that she should be admitted. What? The little threats? It was crazy. It was gross. But yeah, they like it. They align themselves with Victor. They align themselves with those Romania dudes. They align themselves with certain pastors that have certain allegations. They align themselves with certain female pastors that have similar weird allegations on them as well. They continuously align themselves with people who are just terrible. So I definitely don't see Blake seems to be the least of it, quite honestly. Someone said, do a Balak Stones impression. I don't really have much of a Balak Stones impression for you guys. I don't really have much of that anymore. How much money you giving me? How much? To say what? About Candace? Roll the camera. I don't really have much of a kind to do. Black helicopters. I was around since the black helicopters. When they were coming out. Where were you guys? Back when the black helicopters were all around. I'll tell you where I was. I was in the trenches. I was the one putting my life on the line. I can't yell right now. We got people over. I want my wife to have to explain why Alex is upstairs screaming. Oh my gosh. But yeah. I haven't actually watched this full clip because I was like, it's a lot of Blake, but let's check a little bit out.
You know, because then you'll disagree on a lot of things, but you will align.
Yeah, my Alex impression, my Balak's Tones impression is actually when he was fatter, not now. When he was fatter, that's what he sounded like. When he was real big, he sounded like that. Now he sounds a little different.
On really important things.
Yes.
And I think that was what carried the day with me. And I'm very glad it did. And you know, at the time, as you said, it was like at the time I came in, he was just a very different person.
Yes.
And it was over time realizing all the ways that, as you say, it's like you have to really see it. You're like, is this for real?
Yeah,
like,
so you and I talked about this.
What is it? Is this going to work? It would also have that where you're like, this can't possibly work, right? And it does. And it does because he's so completely.
It's so funny that he says that because, you know, I can understand why Blake was thinking that. He's like, you don't understand what I've said about Asian ladies. I don't really. Are you sure you want me to sign? And then I work. Have you looked at the threads? I've said some pretty vile things. It was about a woman that I knew. You understand? Allegedly. Are you sure? I mean, I was really focused on Asian people. I mean, like, are you? I mean, it was like all the bad things. Are you positive this is gonna work? And Charlie's like, yeah, we'll make it work, man. Don't even worry about it. We'll make it work. You know, good for him. Good for him. He saw something in Blake. You know, Charlie does have this the aura around Charlie. It's very much like he knew what was going to happen to him. He knew what kind of piece to it all Candace would be. What if he also, I don't want to say like Jesus, but it's the same type of story. What if he looked at the Judases and said, yeah, they should be with me too. Come on in, guys. This will be the one that turns on me. It's fine. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm not comparing them, but those stories, a lot of parallel in those stories of his. Anyway, let's get to the important stuff, man. Let's get to the real important stuff. Hey, man, jars of diabetes. Hey, you guys ever seen a jar of diabetes before? Let me tell you something. We have so many jars of diabetes, okay? There are multicolored jars of diabetes. Now, I only wish that this picture didn't actually show you reality, but it so does. And we're just going to work through all this because this is the craziest fad going on. Let me just break it down for you guys. So now, someone had a jar of pineapples, okay? Spears. And then that same person had some packets of Kool-Aid. Not going to say what color this person was, but they had a whole bunch of Kool-Aid and they had a whole bunch of sugar. And they said, you know what? Put it all together. And they shook it up and they made the most demonic drink that you will ever see in your life. The most demonic snack that you have ever seen in your life. I mean, this stuff that we're going to be showing you today is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Mama, You know they dipping the pineapples inside the Kool-Aid and then letting it sit inside the Kool-Aid, and then the Kool-Aid gets inside the pineapple, then they eat it, mama. Oh, baby, I hope they're putting sugar in there. Mama, they putting the Kool-Aid in the sugar, cup of sugar inside pineapple juice, mama. Oh, baby, go get me some. Mama, are you serious? I think I go ahead buy 3 of those. You want raspberry lemonade, mama? Oh, baby, I was just joking. I had to see how slow you were, baby. Oh my gosh. Don't go drinking that. The diabetes will take your foot, baby. Diabetes takes your foot. I'm telling you, baby. Oh, mama, I got 2 feet. I ain't worried about none of that. You know, you're going to see Officer Tatum eating those. He's going to be eating those. He's going to be like, oh my gosh. Anyway, it's already spread. They're already making other fruits dipped and soaked inside of Kool-Aid. This is real. I'm not showing you anything that's AI throughout these clips that I'm going to show you, okay? This is real. This is really happening. I'll show you who the culprit is, who started this whole thing.
Oh my God, look at the color. Okay, I'm gonna taste it for y'all and show y'all what it looks like.
Oh, how I hate eating sounds. God. I hate eating
this sounds. Bitch is everything. Y'all see that? Oh my God, Lord Jesus. Oh my God. Yeah, this motherfucker fire. And I'm not even a lemon girl. Love. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, I hate eating sounds. Oh my gosh. There's going to be a lot of Southern black people, guys, okay? So I just got to tell you, there's going to be a lot of swearing, okay? Understand me when I say this. There's going to be more swearing than you're probably used to hearing on this show, all right? I'm letting you know now, right? But this is spread so far already. Yeah, close your mouth. You know, it's just such a crazy sound. I don't get it. But I grew up with my mom like smacking me if I ate a certain way, and then she wouldn't tell me how I was eating. So she would just be like, stop eating like that. And I wouldn't know what she was talking about. So now I eat very politely. Well, that's how that goes. Good job, Mom. So I don't eat like that. I don't understand how it looks. But it even spread to Asmongold. If you don't know who Asmongold is, he is one of the most successful streamers in the world. Gets very political at times, and he himself, okay? And again, this is even spread to white people now. You understand? This is breached containment. You understand me? That's why we're talking about this today. This is breached containment. If you have young people in your family, you have to contact them and make sure that they are not participating in this whole thing. You understand? We've breached containment. You tagged me in IG, Mike, did you? I'll check. While this is playing, I'll check. Hold on. So Asmongold is even trying this. Check this out.
Oh my God. Fuck it.
Oh. This is all right. I never liked grape Kool-Aid. I'm going to be honest. I never did. This only reminds me why. I don't think it's that good. This makes me want to drink water. And if you know me, you would know how bad that means. Absolutely not. The grape one, I'm not about it. All right, guys. I am not. I'm so glad that I spaced this out for 2 days. Let's do it. Better than the grape, but the first red one was better.
He's like transforming. Yeah, the first one, he's like, this makes me want to drink some water. You guys got to understand, this is not good. I've never liked grape all that much. The second one, he's like, By the third one, he's like, oh, mama, you ever had something this good before? Mama. Anyway, let's keep going here. Someone said that big gas. Yeah, you've seen it. Not everybody knows about this. Somebody said that big gas. Oh my God. I'll try and find that kid too. Let's see how he does with this one.
I know. Oh my God.
I think the first red one that I got was the best one. I think this one, like, there was too much sugar in it. It's too strong.
Oh, he's not black yet. He's not black yet. Talking about too much sugar, too strong. No, he's not there yet. He's almost there. He's on his way. He's on his way. He's on his way. Yeah. He's taking the first step. Look at what I'm showing you right now. I'm not, again, I'm not making this up. First of all, those are like Taki fried wings. I don't know what these plates are. Recently, like Facebook plates have been taken off where people are like making this makeshift crazy food. And then you just go to their house and they're like, here you go. Give me $50. And then you eat it and you just have a sugar overload inside your car. You just go into a coma and then you wake up and you're like, oh, man, I need some pineapple. Even this out. It's absolutely crazy. Look at all these different things. None of this is fake. I think it's playing some kind of music. So
just when you thought a hoe can Kool-Aid nothing else.
This is what it takes to run the fucking world.
Get the whole palette.
Yeah.
We finna get the whole.
We finna get the whole palette.
He's gonna buy the whole palette. They're not kidding. They're not like creators where they're like, oh, let's just make a video quick. No. People are buying whole palettes. You know what? This has to be done by Costco's responsible for this. This is what's happening. Costco's responsible for this. That's what's happening right now. Because everybody's going to Costco to get these things. This guy has his own branding. He has his own stickers on them. Do you understand what you're looking at right now? He has his own stickers on them.
Kool-Aid pineapple jars for you. Look, they ain't $20 either. They $12.
What the fuck? Hey, listen. Now that I got your attention.
Boy, I got
that guy. Hold on a second. Do you see how many that guy had? This is not a joke, guys. This is not a joke. What's in that jar? What are in those two? This is crazy. This is crazy.
Now that I got your attention.
Boy, I got the hibachi grill in the trunk here.
All right, y'all, let's get into these Kool-Aid sardines. Here you go.
Hands behind your back, man. Yeah, no, we saw the video. Hands behind your back, please. No, just hands behind your back. No resisting. Trust me. You don't want to resist. You just you're going to come down to the station, man. Just go ahead and come on down to the station, man. Please and thank you. Of course, once you get addicted to sugar on this level, of course you need your sardines dipped in Kool-Aid. What are you, crazy? You think you can just have normal things after you drink one of these pineapple jars? This changes you. This is exactly what Tucker Carlson and the priest were talking about. They're talking about things change you. You can change into something else. Do you understand, guys? Pickles. It's not a joke, guys. That's a banana. It looks, oh God. Banana spear. What's happening right now? It's crazy what's going on.
Brand new drinks and they're about to take over in the city.
Okay, that's hot dog water. Okay, we're moving on. This is crazy. This is just nuts. I got more. Leave you me. I got a whole bunch more. Check out this kid. I mean, this is getting nuts.
Pineapple.
It's funny that you.
I know what he's going to be snacking on tonight.
You know, it's funny that you.
Want to try that juice?
He usually doesn't like pineapples.
No.
He usually doesn't like pineapples. He still doesn't like pineapples. He hates pineapples still. You dipped them in sugar. He's a kid.
You're good. I actually taste pretty.
Pineapple.
It's funny that you.
You see that? That was his body adjusting to it. That little, when he bit it, you went, because his body's like, oh, okay, sorry. That's like when you're smoking something, you're not sure how strong it's gonna be. You're like, it's your soul adjusting. That's your soul getting punched in its gut. This is crazy. All right, let me show you something else here. This guy owns a store. Look at this.
We got the Kool-Aid pineapple available, advanced liquor, 14918 Greenfield Road. They only $15 and we accept EBT.
Oh, that's racist. See, for him to he said EBT is racist. That's racist that he said that. That is good business, but you're racist. You said EBT. That's uncalled for. There's no reason to mention EBT. Okay, you could just have the stuff. You could just have it in stock. You didn't need to say that part. How dare you? How dare you? Someone is gonna rinse out their EBT card on Kool-Aid and pineapples. This is crazy. It's $15. I know some people are selling it for 20. The people who are selling out of their trunks and stuff, $20. It's crazy. And then somebody will roll up and be like, give me 5. Give you 5? What are you talking about? Look at this guy. Good business, though. This guy's smart.
When you come to Vaughn's Liquor, we got them on that cooler right here, the white one.
It's a liquor store. Oh, this guy's destroying the black community. This guy works for the CIA. This guy here works for the agency. You're destroying the black community, and you know what? You got a liquor store. It's in the hood. You take an EBT. You're a problem. That guy's a problem. Someone needs to go and talk to that guy about Jesus. Someone needs to talk to him about Jesus immediately, very quickly.
They $15 and we accept EBT. We got 2 different blue ones. We got the mixed berry and the raspberry lemonade.
Someone said his cousin is a dentist too. He has the dentist cards right at the cash register. Just with every 5 ones you buy, Habibi, hey, with every 5 one you buy, you go see dentist, get discount. Go check out.
And we got the red and pink. What's up?
This is crazy. And you think it's done? I'm not even near done, guys. We're not even near done. I have like 20 more tabs open. What are we talking about? Check this out.
20.
You heard him?
Thank you.
Appreciate you. I text you yesterday, boy. Put me one up, bro. I got to hook you. Ask me about this shit.
No, I mean, my mother told me to put one up for her and I didn't do it. Blue sold out. Hello? What's going on, bro?
Literally, I'd rather him selling crack. He would be doing a service if he chose to sell crack instead. This is so crazy. This is so crazy. Absolutely so crazy. I mean, and again, look at it. I mean, good business. This guy's gonna make like $400 just off of what's inside there, maybe more. I don't even know. They're nice and cold. I don't like cold fruit myself. I actually like room temperature fruit, but
hey,
yeah, I got a few left. 500 Northwest 15th Street. Yeah. Oh, no, I can't hear. I hate that loud ass shit right there. That nigga shit so loud. The orange one? They 20. Yeah.
I mean, they're talking like they have drug talk when they're talking about it. Like, yo, let me hold something. He's saying, yo, just let me just till Friday, you know? Just till Friday. Let me get one till Friday. Don't worry about it. I'll kid you. That's what they're trying to talk out there. For those of you who need a little bit of translation there. I mean, this is just getting ridiculous. And these are the plates that I'm talking about here. These are real plates. This is what people are doing. This is actually what people are doing. Okay. Those are Takis. Okay. Those are that's Takis chicken. Okay. Or no, it's Cheeto chicken. And then it's waffles with cereal on top. The guy even has the ingredients right here. The whole recipe's right here. I mean, this is getting absurd.
Down here in Tampa, let's go serve the first custo.
I'm not going to play the music. It's not necessary. It doesn't add to this. It doesn't make this any less terrible. I mean, it's just so much. There's just so much of this. Here, check this out.
What's down, bro? Yeah. Fruit punch go crazy. This my new flavor I just dropped today. The peach mango. The green apple, blue raspberry, lemonade. This fruit punch, like I said already. This strawberry lemonade right here. Yeah, peach mango here. Yeah. Let me get you a call right there. That's all that mixed berry. I forgot I had the mixed berry, motherfucker. Hell yeah, that motherfucker hit too. Yeah, everybody fuck with that mixed berry. So you want to? I got you right here too.
In my day, this is how we used to talk about weed. In my day, that's exactly how you used to talk about it. You know, oh, this one hits right here. This one's real good. Yeah, you should check this one out. Now they're talking about pineapples. Pineapples inside of Kool-Aid. Mind you, when I say Kool-Aid, you guys got to remember, I mentioned it before. It's Kool-Aid mix inside the pineapple juice. There's no water included here. Just so you know. There's no water going on in this equation. Just so you understand. Okay. The only water is from the ice that the stuff is sitting in. Okay. I mean, this is just wild. This is absolutely wild. Anyway, let's keep going here.
No, you good. That's yeah, mid there. Right there. Oh, and you got a call. What's in? Let's go. Yes, sir. What's up with my boy?
I come from the generation. We didn't call each other twins. Yeah, I never did that. I noticed they do that a lot now. What's going on, twin? Like, that's a good thing. Like, you're the same, I guess. I don't know. Weird. It didn't stop at pineapples. You know, this person's doing apples. You know, apples were already good enough. I think apples are fantastic. But apparently they've been upgraded. Do they have Tide Pods? They're going to have Tide Pod flavors soon. Tide Pods dipped in pineapple juice.
Shout out to Craig Goddess for giving me this idea, because when I seen hers, my mouth instantly started watering. At this point, we're doing Kool-Aid war. Kool-Aid what you can. Get in where you fit in. Don't come in my comments talking about, oh, y'all Kool-Aid everything. And dude, that same energy your funky ass put in that comment, you can get some money. Yeah, we doing.
She's right. You could be getting money. We're here criticizing, but we could all be getting together, getting our Kool-Aid together and getting our pineapple together, hopping in our cars and opening up our trunks and making some money. She is right about that. I will give her that. She could just be doing that. And now it's spread. This is what the healthier parents do. Okay. This is what the healthier parents are doing. Okay. Check it out.
Eat candy, but I will allow candy juice. Eating gummies is not healthy for the teeth.
So she, instead of doing the pineapple stuff, she puts candy inside of water. She shakes that around for a few hours and then gives the kids candy juice. And they love the juice. Okay. Yeah. Someone said, I want a Kool-Aid Newport. Lance. A Kool-Aid Newport. Soon enough. Oh, is this the one? Oh, because I'm supposed to show you guys the culprit. I can show you the culprit of this whole thing. I know who kicked this off.
Man, this is what it takes, man, to run the world, man.
To run the world.
And I'm only showing y'all because this shit around the world right now. But
it's like in 5 different states around the world.
y'all see what's going on.
Why did they let him buy that much? Why'd they let him buy that much pineapple? I'd be like, no, man. No. He'd be like, I'm trying to get the skid. You already know, right? You pull out cash. I'm trying to get this whole skid, bruh. I'd be like, where did you get a pump jack to pump out one of my skids from that and bring it over here? Who gave this guy a forklift? Mark, was it you? Did you give him a forklift? You can't give customers forklifts, man. Bro, you cannot have all of this. Okay. I don't know what you're doing. Okay, but I don't want to get in trouble. And I feel like I'm going to get in trouble if I let you have all. I can't have you do this. then he just puts up another skid of Kool-Aid and a skid of Kool-Aid. Hold on a second. Absolutely not. I don't know what's going on here. Listen, I'm calling the police. that would be my I'm calling the police. I don't know what's happening right now. And he's just like, I'm just trying to run the world, bro. I'm just trying to run the world. I'd be like, oh, sir, no, sir. I'm on the phone with the police right now. What's going on here? I don't know. He has a lot of pineapple here. He says he wants to run the world. And he has a bunch of Kool-Aid. This is getting ridiculous. Using their EBT to buy it and then selling it for cash. Ooh, yep, probably. Right? 15. You get 15. You go sell them on the street for 20. You see what I mean? This is crazy. Oh, here she is. This is the culprit. This is the one right here. Check this out.
Yeah. What's going on?
Her.
Yeah. What y'all thought? Yeah. What y'all thought? Yeah. What y'all thought? Yeah. You gotta bring the motherfuckers.
Her right there. She's the culprit. She's the one that started this whole thing. All 3 of them, really. But she's like the biggest one. She's the kingpin. That lady right there is the kingpin. Her name's Tiffany. Oh, I've been tracking this story for a while. This story made me turn into Baron Coleman. I'm like Daisy right now. I did some research. This lady's name is Tiffany. Tiffany is the one that started this whole thing. She's the kingpin. You understand? Look at that. This is it. See? I can't play the music, but see what I mean? And look, it's a skid. I hate watching people eat like that. That guy looks like a bigger version of me. See, if I didn't get my weight under control, I'd just look like this because I grow my beard out just like that. I get 111 tattooed on my head. I'd look just like this guy. This guy looks like my brother. You see, there's a skid. There's a skid on that. They have a skid and it's saran wrapped. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying when I say that there's a skid and it's saran wrapped already? That means they either had saran wrap. They had the skid wrap already, okay? It's stronger than saran wrap. It's different. Or they went right to the back of Costco and they said, that skid right there, sir. Thank you very much. What? I'm telling you, this is crazy. That's my twin. Yeah, this guy's me. Yeah, he's basically me. Right? He's basically me. We look at each other. Well, can I do another screen? Is there a different screen? Is there a different screen? Yeah, me and that guy. Yeah. That's basically me. That's basically me. If I made different life choices, if I made different life choices, that's me. 100% that's me. If I never picked up a microphone, I mean, they're going nuts. They love this stuff. I mean, yeah, it's her, man. She's the one. I'm telling you, man, this lady works for the CIA. You know, the CIA was the agency was like, listen, The music, we've done really good with the music. What's next? Agent Johnson was like, I know what's next. Agent Johnson, the same man who came out with Newports. That's right. I got a new idea. What's that, Agent Johnson? Well, I've been looking at their affection for Kool-Aid and pineapple. Agent Johnson, we can't bring pineapple into it. We don't want them exploring fruits and vegetables. We've told you this already. Quiet down. Quiet down, Smith. Agent Smith, stand down. We're going to put the Kool-Aid on the pineapples. Okay? All right? We got Agent Tiffany over here. She's going to distribute them to the community. I see the plot. I know what they're doing. I've seen this before. We've seen this before, guys. This is what they did with rocks. This is the 60s all over again, guys. This is this is nuts. Oh my gosh, this is nuts. Absolutely nuts. This Tiffany lady, you know? And she's eating it and she loves it. Okay.
It's that quiet.
Listen, understand what that is. Okay. He had a bag of it. Okay. Okay. Do you understand what he had a bag of it. It is crushed up Jolly Ranchers. Okay. They take, I haven't even gotten to this part, guys. I'm telling you, there's more tabs open. They take crushed Jolly Ranchers and they use, no, it's not Pop Rocks. It is Jolly Ranchers smashed up. And they take that and they see, you said Pop Rocks. You can tell you're from the old school. You grew up in the 90s. You think it's Pop Rocks. They have no use for Pop Rocks. They are taking crushed up Jolly Ranchers and using that as dip. Okay. As dip for their pineapples that are soaked in Kool-Aid. Someone said prison candy. I mean, I'm sure. No, it's not tahini. No. This is, you guys don't understand how diabolical this is. You understand? I didn't bring up diabetes for fun, guys. This is crazy what they're doing. And
it's that quiet. It's that quiet.
I mean, this Tiffany lady. Do I have her profile open? I do. This Tiffany lady right here. I am Powerhouse Tiffany Williams is her name. 200,000 followers. This lady. She makes all sorts of food. Okay. And her food looks good. Food looks great. You know, but she's like one of these people that like sells the food and, you know, but she was one of the first people to make these videos of people having Kool-Aid.
Son, let them know. Sip that juice before you pull that pineapple out, boy. Fuck her up. It's good. That shit good. Whoa. Put it in your mouth. I want to see you. Yeah, that's it. Hey, I want to see you taste. What is giving, my boy?
That shit good. 10 out of 10.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Let them know. Sip that juice before you pull that pineapple out, boy.
See? This is getting crazy, guys. You got to watch out. I'm telling you. You got nieces and nephews. Check on them. Check on them quick. Because Tiffany's out there. Tiffany is out there and she's not playing games. Okay? Just be clear. Okay? Tiffany is not playing any games. I mean, I've seen all sorts of videos from Tiffany. It's just wild. Look, this is another one. Look at this. This is crazy.
Hey, listen here, man. I'm doing a review on these viral pineapples. Now, the person that made these.
I mean, yelling so loud, like my mom on the phone, you know, just so loud right now.
Y'all caught on to that laugh yet? Don't get nervous. Ooh, don't get nervous. That's all I'm going to say, y'all. Because she begged me to do this. She begged me to bring this up here.
It's such a good time with people like these. Are you kidding me? That's why the South is the best. I mean, they're not even doing it. They haven't even done anything. And they're having the best time. Just the funnest. One of them just started going, ooh. I love it. Have a good time, man. Have a good time in life. You know, when life gives you crazy circumstances, you just put pineapple and all sorts of sugar together and have diabetes. You know, when life gives you pineapple, have diabetes, right?
That sound like Tiffany. Come on now. The tuna lady. So what kind you say this is? The best watermelon. The best watermelon. That's all I'm going to say. The best. The best. It's not like no other. Hold on now. Let me dip it back in there. Let me dip it. I got to dip it, y'all. Look at that juice. Hold on. Let me take
She has to dip it. It's already been soaked in it for 24 hours.
the juice. I'm going to taste the juice first. The juice is what matters. Forget the pineapples. Come on now, come on. I ain't never seen nobody keep drinking it like that. Cause I stayed there. I was in the lab with that one. Now this pussy hole here hitting on something.
Oh my God. Now it goes a degree deeper. You think it stops there? You guys actually think it stops there? Oh, you think it just stops with it being soaked in juice and then they drink the juice and they eat the pineapple? You think the agency would allow it to stop there? Absolutely not. Absolutely. The next culprit. What you are looking at is a concoction of diabetic proportion. I mean, you might as well just throw your left shoe away because your left foot's going to fall off, okay? Check this out. So, what you're seeing is the pineapples with the juice, right? And that's normal. They freeze it and you're like, oh, well, that's like a nice little popsicle. But they said, no, we're in the lab right now. This is not just a nice popsicle. Understand what you're seeing right now, okay? You're seeing melted down Jolly Ranchers. You are seeing melted down Jolly Ranchers, okay? And they're dipping the frozen pineapple into the melted. This is why I say, this is exactly why I'm saying the agency's behind this. Because how do just regular people in the hood know how to do this? How do they know about melting down Jolly Ranchers? This has to be some kind of psyop. How on earth could they possibly know about doing this? How? Who taught this lady this? This lady, how do you know? I didn't even know Jolly Ranchers can melt. How do you even do it? You see what I mean? This is getting crazy, guys. This is getting wild. What is this? I mean, someone said crack adjacent. It's adjacent. It's not quite, but it's like right close to it. And then they break up the Jolly Ranchers. They smash them up. And then they also give you a little Jolly Rancher sprinkle. I mean, this is crazy. And there's going to be so many kids that are going to love this. They're going to love it. And they're going to eat it. With a Jolly Rancher on the side. You guys think this is a joke?
I'm gonna bet on me.
They're really buying the whole skid. Yep. It's really happening, guys. You know? I just, I'm just showing you. Yeah, let me turn that music off. Like, I mean, look at this. Look, with the wings that are fried in Takis or whatever. I mean, this is real. This is really real.
Will be diagnosed with diabetes. That's 1 in 8. Deaths by heart disease, 22%. That's 1 in 4. Obesity, 49.9%. That's 1 in 2. I'm pissed. You mean to tell me
I'm pissed.
y'all are buying $8 jugs of pineapples from Sam's Club, shoveling 7 pounds of sugar and red 40.
Oh, how much sugar did you think was in it? Did you think just Kool-Aid was in it? You thought it was just Kool-Aid? Oh my gosh. Don't be silly, guys. Come on. That's a cup. That's a cup of sugar. This is crazy. I'm telling you, the agency did this. There's no way the agency isn't responsible for this. Regular people don't come up with these concoctions like this.
Into them and selling them for $20 to $25. That's a 150% markup. What are we doing? And I know I can't be too mad, right? Because Disney World does it, right? They'll put a freaking
I mean, it's just getting out of control, guys. There's just so
Y'all come tap in with KO Spicy Bowl, man. She got the pineapple for y'all, man. Come get them.
I mean, now that I've shown you this, oh, believe me, your algorithm's gonna know. Your algorithm's gonna be like, oh, you want to see more pineapple stuff? They're gonna be like, oh, we got all sorts of pineapple stuff for you. Don't even worry about it. I'll end it off with this one. I like this guy. Kinda.
Isn't it funny that every election year we have some race baiting CIA psyop like this? Because what the hell is this? Now, if you haven't seen this by now, people are taking pineapple soaked Kool-Aid batches and selling them like it's the new hottest thing. Now, I have a real genuine question. Who made this popular? Where did this come from? This has to be coming from the top, because why? And Kool-Aid pineapples in a reduction is 81. And would you look at that? Government psyops is the same at 81 in a reduction. Now, being this is 2026, this is the midterms, we do have to recognize the pattern recognition, because all these other events also happen during election years. Starting with Trayvon Martin, which was 2012. We have Philando Castile in 2016, Breonna Taylor in 2020, and you guys all know this one. We have George Floyd also in 2020, who were all during election years and all racially charged events. Coincidence? I mean, it is very interesting timing that we have the Austin Metcalf, Carmelo Anthony trial just starting. Also, we have this walking piece of trash, Chud the Builder, who's also in trial for an attempted murder case. Now, all this is for the control of your mind, because literally they are casting a spell in real time, because that's what government means. If you break it down, the word govern, gubernabre in the Latin root word, means to steer or control. And mentis, means mind. Literally, in the name, mind control or control of the mind. But that's just a coincidence, right? Right? And to add insult to injury, those little pineapple Kool-Aid things you guys are making, yeah, it has the same amount of sugar as 9 cans of Coca-Cola. So there's that. You guys don't fall for the psyops. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about all this.
That's so funny. I love that he took it to that place. And you know what? That's the one thing that always echoes in my mind that Candace said. And I think it was one of the wisest things she ever said. She said every single election year, something something happens to divide people. And it's always racially. Always. Every single election year. And then with the way that he took it, when you do add up all those things happening, there is going to be resolution in each one of these things. And no matter how it goes down, right? Let's say with Chud, if Chud gets freed, well, then people are going to be mad. If he goes to jail, well, then people are going to be mad. It's like all these things are making it so people are going to divide themselves. And it happens every single election year, all the time. But anyways, guys, have fun. Have fun out there. If you end up trying the Kool-Aid pineapple, let me know. I'm not going to be trying it. I'm not going to be doing that. But if you do, prayers to you. Hope you're okay. Make sure to take a walk after or something. Get your blood, keep your blood flowing, because before it coagulates up and everything. But somebody here, we're going into the coffees first. We're gonna jump right in. Coach, thanks for playing Tucker's interview with Father Stephen. That is his name there, Father Stephen, for those of you that don't know. He has a tremendous understanding of history, symbolism, scripture, and the way he puts it all together to provide spiritual guidance in our modern age is phenomenal. You may enjoy Father Andrew Stephen Damick, his podcast called The Lord of Spirits. Never heard of that. Which they discuss the unseen realm in both antiquity and today. Their recent-ish episode, What Must I Do to Be Saved, expounds on the true nature of salvation, which Father Stephen mentioned to Tucker. That is the lifelong process of becoming Christ through participation in his body and continual repentance, allowing him to restore his image in us. Jonathan, what is this? Pegu also has a great podcast called The Symbolic World that dives into more cultural critiques and shows how Christianity is and has been inverted by Hollywood, media, false religions, etc. Enjoy your show. I'm always glad Baron. I'm so glad Baron put us on to you a few months ago. That's amazing. I didn't know Baron did that. I had no idea Baron did that, actually. But you said that other podcast. What's that other podcast called? Lord of the Spirits? Is that on YouTube? Let me see. Lord of the Spirits podcast. Interesting. I think this is it. I don't actually know, but I'll definitely look into that. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you. Blacksmith. We went way long today, man. I didn't even think there'd be a show today. We went way long. Blacksmith, Ronald Reagan smiling up at the black community from the afterlife. Ronald Reagan's like, go ahead and try the juice. Go ahead and have that juice. There you go. Drink up. Oh, smiling up at the black community. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. I love hearing about the, what is that? Anti-Duvalian world. It's so fascinating. Gary Wayne. I've heard that name. Oh, Genesis 6 conspiracy. I have heard that. I've heard of that. Somebody told me I should interview him. I've never got any response. I think I contacted him. Maybe I didn't. Goes into depth, like deep in depth from a researchy point of view, and everyone knows Timothy Alberino. So fascinating. By the way, Mortal Kombat Ultra Mama fatality. Yeah. I've been told to interview both those people. I've yet to make contact. Alika, I think I said it right. Thanks for checking the Tucker interview. I had a feeling you'd enjoy it. Oh, it was you. Thank you so much. Father Stephen DeYoung. Okay, that is his full name, guys. Father Stephen DeYoung also has his own podcast called Lord of the Spirits, or maybe is that his podcast? I don't know. I have it right here. I'm just not sure if this is the podcast. It's a podcast. It's a playlist, but there's no YouTube page to it. There's no page. Maybe it's just the podcast. I don't know. Is the page called Ancient Faith? Because that's all I'm seeing right here. Lord of the Spirits, where he goes in more depth about giants and other spiritual biblical topics that I think you'd enjoy too. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. Anyway, let's jump over here really quick. Let me just see here. Beautiful. Let me see. What's this next one? I commented this yesterday, but I wanted you to know you always make me laugh every day. You're singing happy birthday to the Miracle Baby made me tear up, then turn to laughter. You the best, coach. Whole bunch of emotions there. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Hey, Tucker's priest interview was great, but I'm new to this stuff and I wouldn't have understood it without you. I love your takes on stuff like this. Love/need your humor about it too. Just wanted to encourage you to not be afraid of your non-Candace content. Your true community /fan/tribe is here for it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I figured I'd take that opportunity to do that. I mean, she's not doing anything, right? Had to make the leap from Rogan at a certain point, have to make the leap from Candace at a certain point. That's just the way that goes. But I also like to follow what I'm interested in. And I'm very interested in her and where she's going right now. So, but we do have to, break away every now and then at least. But I mean, she comes back. I got to do a recap. We got to do recaps, but I also like the funny stories too. So I want to find more funny, ridiculous stories as well and cover that with you guys too. Hola, coach. Thanks for the support again and advice. I think I will do an episode every Friday or every other Friday. Those little episodes are taking me several hours to make. I should get better at editing with time. Thanks for all you do. Whoever missed it, Betty is Bilingual is the YouTube channel. Simple Spanish for Littles. Peace and good health to everyone. Hit that like out there. Mint Daddy Crew, siempre. Oh, they're leaving already. Okay. Well, whatever. I'm here with you guys. Doesn't matter. But yeah, That's great. That's great. Get better at editing. And try and do it as little as possible, I would say. As little as possible. Or maybe you'll just get better at using the editing program. Also, let me know what editing program you're using, because there's probably a better one that you could use. Usually people, they gravitate towards the more difficult ones without realizing it. So let me know. I can give you some tips on workflow. I tried watching Spider-Man No Way Home over the weekend. I couldn't bring myself to finish it. The core concepts, casting spells, opening portals, inviting entities from other dimensions, just felt a bit too bizarre and unsettling for my taste. Also, every time I post a coffee, I use a fake name, but it always changes it to my real name when it posts. How can I change that? Does anyone know? I have no idea. I never thought that. I think I watched Spider-Man No Way Home. I think I did. No, I watched the cartoon one. There was a cartoon one. I forget. I think it was a Spider-Verse. But that's interesting. I didn't know that those were the concepts floating around. But that makes sense. Ever since Doctor Strange came into the whole Marvel universe, or just superhero universe, there's been a lot of that, a lot of casting spells and things like that. This isn't a coffee, but rather a comb. Oh, thank you so much, Jay Berg. Appreciate you. That Kenyan, first time writing you, been watching for a few months. You make my morning drives sometimes with my sometimes with my toddler listening. Your African imitation yesterday had me howling. Not how we sound, but hilarious. Well, if you're Kenyan, it's different. If you're Nigerian, you already know what's up. Yeah, that's a Nigerian accent, not just African in general. There's too many places in Africa to just do one accent. Yeah, I do the Nigerian. That's the most. Anyway, with the Tucker interview, just wanted to say I stopped going to the chiropractor because of its origins. Oh yeah, I've heard about the origins. The father of it said some dead physician came to him with it. When I learned that, I noped right out. I've never done it, but I have heard the origins, and they're very weird. The origins are very, very weird if you look into it. Pawn shops, gun shops, liquor stores, strip clubs, smoke shop, Planned Parenthood, lingerie stores, another strip club, then another random this, that. We going deep today, coach. I'll have to watch this twice. God bless. Billie Eilish is a demon, by the way. Okay. I did not know that. She's young. I think she's young. I feel like she's only 20 years old or something like that. Hey, coach, who knows what she was going through when she was younger? Who knows how that upbringing went in terms of like being in Hollywood, right? Hey, coach, we're converts to Orthodox Christianity. Hubs and I grew up Protestant. Father Stephen DeYoung is actually my priest's daughter's godfather. Oh, wow. Anyway, my husband and I were talking after this episode and wondered if the Nephilim hybrids might be cluster B personality, like narcissist, psychopaths, historic personality. I've never heard historic personality. I've never heard that before. Possibly. Well, I mean, I don't know. What you say, if you've met, especially I don't know if I've ever met a person that's like a psychopath or anything. They seem less human, soulless. It's an interesting thought. Yeah, you know what? There's something to be said for all of us feeling like everything we see that's bad is just us. Like when we see bad things happening, there's something to be said for. It's like maybe what you're seeing is not just bad people. Like there could be something bad going on inside of them that they're unaware of. And that was one of the things that this priest talked about in Tucker Carlson's interview. He would definitely talk about the fact that if you don't know about what's going on either side, he's like, it's like walking through a minefield in terms of like the evil that's out there. It's like, if you don't know about it and you don't know about, God or any religion or anything, any good, then you're kind of just walking through this minefield and you will be subject to what's going on, right? This battle between good and evil, this spiritual battle going on. So there is something to be said for that. But I don't know. Because sometimes it is people, sometimes it's not. Like it all depends how they got there, I would say. Right? There's a whole lot to that. I absolutely love your show. It's a great way to start my day as a stay-at-home mom of 4 little girls. 10, 5, 3, 1. Wow, that is some countdown there. Sending love and prayers to you, Mrs. Coach, and your sweet babies. Crisis King indeed. Prayers to you as well. Prayers to you as well with those 4 kids. Jeez, that is wild. Just thinking out loud here, but bear with me. We are all born with a wicked heart. We were born as vipers in a diaper. And as we get older, we make the choice to either follow God or don't. I think what is happening is possibly the president falling under a what is that? Okay. You think the president is falling? Well, no, I don't know. Here's the thing with that. Just that example in particular. I think you're right, but also with that example in particular, it's like he's 80 now, right? I don't know. If there was a choice made, like you're talking about him, if there was a choice made, I would say it was made decades ago. That's what that is what would make sense. Like when he first started talking about being president, or talking about what a president should and shouldn't do, I think he was like 40, maybe 36 or something like that. He was young. It was a long time ago. Actually, he was probably in his 40s. It was a while ago. Real back in the day. So I feel like it's like he can't just make the choice now. Like I'd be surprised if he just made the choice now, especially with the class that he's been a part of, the friends that he's had, his one good friend that people don't talk about now that's gone. I feel like he made that choice a long time ago, but it's hard to say, really hard to say. He has chosen this path, so now he is paying the price. When the Bible speaks on blasphemy of the Holy Spirit, people misconstrue that to mean we shouldn't take God's name in vain, etc. But that's not what it means at all. It means not listening to Holy Spirit guiding you out of whatever trouble you're trying to get into. If you ignore it long enough, God will give up on your sin. So I struggle with the notion of demons in this context. I know they exist for sure, but I really think we cause a lot of our own demise. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe that's how demons enter after the fact. Yeah, you have to open yourself up. It's not just like they're just there and they just pop into someone's body. Like he was talking about a thought turns into a plan, turns into action, turns into repeated action, turns into habit, turns into you agreeing with what's going on. There's a certain opening up that has to happen, which is why when people are in a dark place, it tends to get, not all the time, not right away, not forever for a lot of people, unless they end up passing away, which sadly happens quite a bit, especially with substances. But it gets darker. It gets darker and darker and darker because you give yourself over more and more and more. And you can even look at addiction as some kind of demon that's starting to, you're some kind of demon that's trying to push and pull you. That's what addiction feels like for sure. So yeah, it's hard to say. I think a lot of what we see, especially going back to what this person said about personalities and stuff, I think a lot of what we see, we don't realize is demonic in nature. And it's not because that person is a demon. It's because they have opened themselves up to something dark. And like that priest said, he's like, then you start agreeing with what's going on, because it's either giving you relief or it's giving you joy where you had none before because you've lived a very sad life, or it's giving you fame and fortune and things that you want. It's giving you material, possibly. I think there's a lot to it. Because it's my understanding that once you reprobate, why aren't I saying that word properly? Reparate, there you go. You are done, but then how do we explain exorcism and everything like that? I don't know. You're going too deep there. I don't know. Like, how do you explain exorcism? Because there's a demon inside somebody and they got to exorcise it out. It's the same way you explain somebody getting rid of an addiction. It feels like they're getting something off their back. That's why they literally say, get the monkey off your back when it came to like alcohol addiction. Like, these are real things. Don't confuse it. You know what? I think here you're getting a little deep in the weeds, and you should just know that there is actually demons. There are actually very evil entities, and they will take hold of you if they can. Okay? Don't lose that fact. I think what you're trying, I think you're kind of attaching, you're kind of saying that you know demons are real, but then you're also kind of going like, nah, but maybe, I don't know. They are very real. They're very real. Don't lose that fact in all of that you're saying. If Jack Hibbs was told about Charlie by Frank or Mikey first, why did he not realize which Charlie his brother Butch was talking about when he said Charlie was shot? Wouldn't that make his brother Butch the first one to call him and tell him? Why lie about this? That's interesting. Did he say that in that interview? Or did he say that in another time? Let me know. Let me know if he said that in a different interview, because I don't remember him saying that in this recent one with Frank. Please let me know. The Knights Templar were looking for technology from pre-flood. The Book of Enoch says the Watchers taught humanity technology before the flood. On YouTube, there is this guy, Black Sheep Bible Talk, that takes other historical writings and lines them up with biblical writings to give more insight. That's interesting. That's very interesting. The bed of the slain giants reminds me of the scene from Witches of Eastwick, where he has a big bed and they all lay down together, and soon after kids are born, and they are children of the devil. Also, when you go to the Vatican, don't get in trouble like me. There's no photos allowed in Sistine Chapel. When you do, they play a loud recording saying no photos. And then they point and they say, you, no photos. Wow. How do they know? How does it play that quickly? That means they're watching you so closely. That's interesting. How would they know right away as soon as you take a photo? Huh. I don't plan on taking photos. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's crazy that there's no photos. It's really crazy, especially with all the photos that you can see. Like, what's going on here? Like, let there be some photos. I don't know. I don't get it. Hey, coach, I'm a dietitian. If you'd like some help or tailored assessment to help you reach your goal, I'd be happy to help. I'm also an 80s baby, old school, and I don't have social media. I would like to email you some advice. Well, you can email me. You find it on the channel. You can definitely find the email on the channel. Actually, I'll reply to you here. I'll send you an email. You can reach out. I do have a goal. It's a hasty goal. My goal was in the triple digits of what I have to lose, and now it is in the double digits. So the weight is coming off, definitely, but there is still a ways to go, many ways to go. But we're gonna do it. Definitely gonna do it. I heard your daughter's having tummy issues. A big advocate for the tummy issue community as a upset tummy girly. I was the same way when I was little. Now I know I can't actually burp and shouldn't have had gluten and dairy. Yeah, no. The kid that had that going on, she's not breastfeeding. She's not breastfeeding or anything like that. But you are right. When we had one kid that had the crazy acne on the face, they said no dairy. We did no gluten, no dairy. She's still doing that, and face cleared up right away, which makes sense because both she and I have sensitivities to gluten and dairy. So it makes a lot of sense that our kids might too. I'm terrified of children. Go, coach. Yes, Lionel has big plans for Candace, he said. Did he? What is he, a handler? How does he have big plans for Candace? Thanks for your dedication. Look forward. Side note. Didn't I read this, right? Thank you again for all your hard work. Didn't I read this? Same kind of church Candace was visiting. I felt like I read this. Did I not read this? I did. This was where you told me about the interview. Okay. Yeah, okay, perfect. This is where you told me about the interview. Okay. All right, so I've read that. Let's get into the super chats, ladies and gentlemen. Super chats. This is brought to you by pineapples dipped in Kool-Aid. Brought to you by the Diabetes Association. Hammy's a member. What's up, Hammy? Just because you make me laugh and I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Allison. Appreciate you. Mike Riley, the boy Izzy Griffin, I told you about, has an episode on sigils and how they create them. His dad was a songwriter mentored by the Bee Gees. Yeah, I know all about sigils. When I interviewed that dude that was a witch, he broke down sigils quite a bit. He even had his own sigil that he uses. And he himself actually teaches classes on sigils and how to make them. It's very interesting. He explained a lot about them. Bjorn? Is that how you say that name? Bjorn? I feel like I've seen you before. Does these things mean that the historical witch hunts had a kernel of truth but ended up completely unhinged? I think those witch hunts were real. I think there's something to that. They'll tell you that. It's funny because this is how it always goes. There will be something that happened, and then the smarter people of today, or yesteryear, but more modern, will be like, oh, well, it was ergot, and it was in this, and it was in the bread, and that's what ended up happening. There was no witches or anything. I don't know if I believe that anymore. I don't know if I believe that type of stuff anymore. I bet there was some weird stuff going on, and they were like, we got to figure out who's what and what. I bet there was. We see weird stuff today. Why wouldn't there be weird stuff happening? You know what I mean? Tucker's talking about talking to people who don't feel all human. This person just commented in the coffees, just talking about how, it doesn't feel, sometimes it feels off talking to these people that seem soulless. Maybe that's what they were going through, right? Hello to all the ladies up in here. Did that work? Did that get you? God is good. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. I'm late hopping in, so I'm catching up, but Mark's video is giving new boot goofing. New boot goofing? What's new boot goofing? Let me know. Becomes a member. Victor Marks will retool Colorado. Can you imagine that was his what he ran on? Victor Marks retooling Colorado. Yeah. It's just a poster of him, eyes rolled back in his head, black goo coming out of his mouth. I used to be a Christian artist. Wasn't until I started touring that I was offered crazy things. Rap artists wanted me singing on their tracks, giving my age. Sugar T, I've heard of Sugar T, asked me to model with her alcohol. Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of shadiness going on in the music industry, no matter where you're at. Like all things, all good things must be tainted. That is the mission of theirs. Thoughts on plasma donation in the hood? I have no idea. Is that a thing that they're doing? If they are, they're donating basically pineapple juice now. Ames, love your show. But tell me about the plasma stuff. What is this? Reynolds rap? Friend of the show. Thank you so much. Great discussion. Live you, coach. That's nicer. I know you meant love you, coach. But I feel like live you is like so much more passionate. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Whoop whoop from Houston, Texas. What's going on? RBC members yesterday, he showed a digital pic of him holding his daughter when she was little. My brain pops on the aura frame. Who? A digital pic of him holding his daughter when she was little? Are you saying Baron showed you that? Interesting. 2 of LZ 5 symbols are Holy Trinity, too cultish. All right. Let's keep going here. As an alien princess, I would never yeet the truth. Are you an alien princess? Sway Diesel? Sway Diesel. Sway Diesel, a lady, ladies and gentlemen. I have to say, with the nickname Sway Diesel, I pictured you being a big black guy. I'm not going to lie to you. I really did. Then she messaged me on Instagram, and I was like, oh, this is a lady. Congrats. They found how to make sweet and sour candy. Yeah, in a crazy way. Gifted 10 N-word passes. You can't gift those. Hey. You can gift memberships. You can't gift N-word passes. You can't do that. Hey. Thoughts on Spencer Pratt? I think a lot of people are like, oh man, he's the best thing. I saw a clip of him on Bill Maher. He was kind of schooling Bill Maher because he's like, what's your thoughts on solar panels? And he's like, oh man, he's like, I'm more worried about the people and the homeless and this and that. Bill Maher's like, oh, well, you're gonna have to know about listen, you're gonna, if you're running for mayor, okay, right? If you're running for mayor, you're gonna have to know a little bit about solar panels, okay? And Spencer was basically like, you're dumb. I don't have to know about solar panels. I have to fix a whole bunch of other things before we think about solar panels. And he was right. At the same time, with everything that he's saying, does it not sound like the president, the current president? Were those promises not given to you before by the current president? Do you think it's possible that another politician could possibly say all the things that the current president was saying? Do you not know that? Go check out what Gavin Newsom ran on. Would it not sound like what he's running on? I don't exactly know why people think he's super different. I think he's going to do some good things. I think he is more of the same. He's definitely Philadelphia first. I don't know how much of that's going to touch on what he does in LA. I don't think he's going to like fly off to Philadelphia out of nowhere. I don't think that's going to happen. But I mean, the flag waving, the wishing happy birthday. I mean, you can see it. It's more of the same of what's expected from every politician. He's definitely not Thomas Massey in his beliefs. So I think he's going to do good stuff. But I also think he's more of the same. I think he's going to do some good things, and there's going to be some things you're going to be very disappointed in. I really do I think he's going to make some kind of law. I shouldn't say he's going to make a law because it's going to be hard. I think there's going to be some things he does that people are very disappointed in. I think a lot of people, because I see a lot of people on X where we get into a back and forth about him, and then I show them the fact that he is a Zio Ranger. He's very much a Zio Ranger. Don't be confused. He very, 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 very much is. And then they're surprised and they go, "What the heck? I didn't know that." But I think he'll do better than Karen Bass, for sure. I think anybody could. I don't know what's up with her. She seems, I don't know, something's loose with that lady. Quite honestly. Add liquor and they will sell them at the club. Oh, you wait till the pineapples have liquor. Yeah, that's probably the next step too. Believe me, crack is healthier than them pineapples. Mike Riley, yeah, man, I hear you. Blue Cat Jen, what's going on? Welcome. Imagine being a addict. You show up to your dealer's house and and all they have now is Kool-Aid and pineapple. That would be rough. That would be a rough go, for a few days. And then all of a sudden you'd be like, you got any more of the pineapples, bro? You got any more of the pineapples? I'll suck yo for some pineapples, This is the movie Idiocracy come to real life. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You guys thought it was a joke. You guys thought it was all fun and games. You thought I was going to show you 2 clips, Oh, yeah, right. Boot Goofin, Reno 911, Baron, photo. Yeah. Tim Dillon Aura ad. That was a lot. You just crammed that right in there. Okay. All right. Well, I knew it was Baron's photo. The Tim Dillon Aura ad. What is that? I don't know. I don't even know what that is. What's this? Kool-Aid equals hood methane blue. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. Not nearly as healthy, but definitely will have people's teeth a different color, just like the methane blue, you know? RFK is probably pissed right now. You know? RFK is probably livid. He's livid that this thing's going on right now for sure. He's like, who gave them that? Who constructed this? I need to talk to someone at the agency immediately. Someone bought a coffee. Thank you so much. Miss Chris Viz, I'm using Shotcut because it's free. What's Shotcut? If you have the time, please email me. Okay. Episodes. I will stop with the self-promotion now. No, you don't have to. Don't even worry about it. I appreciate your help. Mucho. Peace and health. Good health to all. Hit the like. Siempre. Excellent show today. Love the content. I watch you live every morning at my desk while working. You get me through. And I thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. May God richly bless you and your family always. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I'll send you a message, Miss Chris Viz. Actually, I can reply to this. I forgot. I'll reply to that, and I'll send you some tips there on how you can make it faster. As soon as you let me know what's slowing you down, I can definitely help you there. Thank you so much, guys. We are at 3.5 hours. I got to get out of here. People often ask me, are you cold? And I reply, yes. And currently I am colder than I've ever been in this studio. I am freezing because the wife runs hot and I run cold. So now I'm all bundled up here. I'm literally going to take this shirt off and I'm going to put on another sweater, a bigger one. In fact, that's what's going to happen right now. That's how I roll. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for this. I really do appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed the episode. There will be another one tomorrow, Thursday, and then then we're gonna talk about some stuff. Not sure what yet, but we'll see what forms throughout the day. If you guys have any suggestions on any topics or anything, definitely tag me on X. Tag me on Instagram. We are definitely considering all options, and we will be back tomorrow. Bye. See you guys very soon. Baron on tonight, I'm pretty sure. So don't forget to catch that. Candace off until probably Monday. So you'll have to wait for that. I'm out of here.